The king is dead, felled by a sword that pierced through the heart of this country. Bowed heads and solemn tears cannot delay the search for His Majesty's replacement. And no volume or tome with any evidence of his lineage will remain unread. No claim must be declared illegitimate until its veracity and merits are scrutinized and surveyed. The legacy of man and country must abide by the rule of law until a rightful heir is found, plucked, seated in the throne, and crowned by his anointers. Yes, the king is indeed dead, buried in a golden tomb. Yet the hunt for his inheritor will never die. Long live the king. Long live the successor.
Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me out there? Can you guys hear me? Let me know, let me know. Very exciting. Thank you all for being here. This is the day we have been waiting for. It's been a long couple of years at this point. So, you know, forgive me if I look a little bit tired and a little frazzled. We've been putting together a lot of last second adjustments, last second things in order. And we are ready to go. It says I'm a little bit soft. Okay, so I'm gonna lift my volume up a little bit here. Hopefully that will help. Let me know if that helps. Also bring this up a little bit. How's this? Okay, great. Sounds good. Good. Sorry for the little. There's always a little bit of technical difficulties with these things, like right when you start a video. Says I'm very quiet. All right, so let's see how I can make that happen. Make it louder. Oh, says much better now. Okay, now it's better. Great, excellent. Thank you so much, guys. Everyone, there's so many of you in here right now. I'm very pleased. I can't believe there's 80 viewers right now in the channel, and you know, that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming out and showing your support for this. Like I said, this has been an odyssey, at least a 2-year process. I have like red on my face. I don't even know what's happening there. Probably just stress. I'm breaking into high monkeypox. No. So yeah, it's been a very arduous, long, and stressful process. And here we are on the day of the launch, just a little under 2 hours away from pushing the launch now button to see how this thing goes. It's our third campaign. The TDW brand is still a fledgling brand, but you know, I feel very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, and very happy that we've been able to put together just a roster of projects that I think anybody would be proud of. So I'm really happy to be bringing this to everyone, and actually just finally bringing it out into the world and showing what we've, you know, the last couple of days have been really exciting because finally the trailer came out. You know, finally I did my preview video. I hope everybody saw that. There's a contest if you haven't seen it, so definitely check it out and participate. But you know, it's gratifying, and I know Kevin, who'll be on here in just a moment, he will speak to that as well. The idea that we've put so much energy and so much effort and so much just focus on making this a reality, that to finally have it like physically in my hands is the coolest thing, you know, and to be able to bring this to you, to be able to impart that feeling to you, to have you be able to hold it in your hands as the ultimate product, and you know, and I can't wait. So I'm really excited, and I've learned so much from my last campaigns. You know, the parlor, I was just talking to Lady Wake last night, who's in the chat, about how the parlor, when we launched, the night before the parlor launched, the parlor was like it was like a $15,000 goal. And the night before we launched, I looked at Lady Wake. We were lying in bed awake. We couldn't sleep. And I was like, do you think we're going to fund? She just looked at me and shrugged. I don't know. I mean, we had no idea. And obviously the support for that was so strong. And the support for the parlor was so strong that we were just, I mean, we were speechless, literally. And you know, obviously that carried over because the Tempest came a couple of, you know, about 18 months later, about a year and a half later. And the Tempest was also, you know, the same feeling, right? Like the night before, couldn't sleep. Are we going to fund? Is it going to do well? You know, I hadn't been posting as many videos as I had on Parlor. You know, I hadn't been as active, and you know, working with Lautrec is a little bit more fluid, right? And so we didn't have everything as buttoned up as I would have liked, and so, you know, a lot of the things that we had kind of going weren't. I wasn't sure either, right? So I wasn't sure either. So the night before the launch, wife and I are in bed again, thinking, are we going to launch? Are we going to fund? Is this going to be a success? And just to put everything into context, you know, the Parlor funded in 12 minutes, $15,000, ended up raising 1,000%. The Tempest funded in 4 minutes. We ended up raising 194,000, just under 1,000%. Now, this project is a little bit different. This project has a very high starting goal. It's $99,750. And the reason it's so high is because it's the most ambitious playing cards project that I could even think of. I can't think of anything more ambitious than what we tried to pull off and what we're trying to do. So yeah, I'm seeing that there's a little bit of lag in the video. I'm sorry about that. I don't quite know how to, let me see if I can fix this before we move on and introduce Kevin here. There might be a way to fix it. Sometimes these things happen with these, with live streams, as you all know. Let me see here. There should be a setting for delay. There should be a setting for delay. Noise suppression, no. Microphone. Default speakers, default microphone. Here's a delay. I'm assuming the video is coming in before. I'm gonna delay it 10 milliseconds and see what happens. Let me know if this is better. Okay, let me know if this is better. I'm hoping that it's okay, that it's not going to be too distracting to have me be a little bit delayed. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, 100%, 1,000% funding on this would be impossible. we don't have enough product, I think, to get to 1,000% funding on this. $1 million. I'm sure we could probably come up with something if we get to that point. All right, so I'm gonna bring in Mr. Kevin Cantrell now. I think we've got everything more or less sorted to where it's gonna be pretty much as best it's gonna be throughout this. So Kevin, go ahead and unmute and open up your camera here. Oh, it's worse now, Daniel's saying. Okay, all right, well, that's not good. We don't want it to be worse. Let me try. I'm going to reverse what I did and see if that helps. I might be able to delay. What I might be able to do is delay the video, and that will actually potentially fix the problem. I don't know if I can do that, but I will try. It's always good to try these things. Hold on one second. My wife is also texting me. She's my eyes and ears in the rest of the world. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that. And quite frankly, it's going to be, I don't want to have you sit around and just think that this is now. Okay. All right. I'm seeing my wife. No. Video is lagging to the reverse. Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I put it back to where it was. It's going to be a little bit delayed. I'm sorry about that. We will deal with it. All right, bringing in Mr. Kevin Cantrell now. Hello, Mr. Cantrell.
Hey. What's up, Omar? How are you,
Good
man?
morning. Good morning. We are Kevin. I am on the East Coast, so for me this is 10 a.m. It's not too bad. Mr. Cantrell is in Utah, so it's a little earlier for him. So maybe you know
It's a
he's
little
still,
earlier.
still,
I mean,
still waking up
I'm
a
up
little
pretty
bit.
early because I get my kids to school. So
Yeah. Great, excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this chat, Kevin. I really appreciate it. You know, you and I have built a relationship over the last couple of years working on this project, and you know, I obviously we've shared quite a bit of time over the last couple of years just chatting and getting to know each other. But I think the folks at home are going to want to know a little bit about you, and we're going to get to that very shortly. I want to say, just as we continue, I see a lot of names in the chat, over 100 of you now in here. Thank you all for showing up. Number one, thank you all for everything you've done. There are people in this chat right now that have been instrumental in the launch of this campaign. Obviously not just Kevin, but you know, we have Fabian Berral, known to everyone as Mr. Cup. He's in the chat. Mr. Cup was responsible for getting me in touch with Studio Presión, which are this is the amazing folks who put together the printing for the tuck boxes, who did a just absolutely phenomenal job with that. So thank you to him. Thank you to Chris Moyer, who's the fantastic photographer who shot all the photography that you will see on the page when it launches, and all the photography I've been kind of teasing up to this point. He did just a tremendous job with that, and really above and beyond. And you know, I would ask him for like the most minuscule change and he would go and he'd set it up and he'd pull it up and do it and actually work it out. And so I'm very pleased to have found a new partner, photography partner, moving forward. So thank you very much for that, Chris. You know, some other names in here like Gavin Wong, who's been doing some promotion for us on the internet. Thank you so much. You know, really, and just the names of the folks in here that I recognize. I see a lot of people that have been not just TGW fans, but TGW supporters and backers, and folks that really have been instrumental in the success of not just the channel, but the brand. So thank you so much for being here. All right. So here's what's going to happen in this live stream. And I think we're going to start this off. We probably should start this off with a contest. What do you think, Kevin? We should do a little quick giveaway.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. What I want to do is I want to get Nightbot in here because I haven't. It's been a while, and I don't quite remember how to do this. So just bear with me for a second. Just bear with me for a second. This is the wrong account. I realize now. Whoops. Yeah, so you know what I'm trying to do is set up the contest so that we can give away some stuff. We have a lot of kind of contest ideas for today. I actually should have set this up earlier, but again, in the flurry to get online and make sure that everybody would be good to go, it would be working, but I didn't do that in time. All right, so let's see. Is Nightbot in here now?
So many things going on, man.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So Kevin, while I'm working on this, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this project came to fruition? Why don't you tell everybody your end of how this all kind of came to be?
Yeah, sure. You know, it's funny. I think I joke with you. I've been joking with you about this for 2 years now. Every time I do a card deck, I always retire afterwards because it's just such a marathon to design a card deck. It's I think, let's see, what did I just design? I think had I just done standards, or I can't remember which one I just finished, but I was just so I mean, and also the funny thing is card decks are like, it's like a tertiary thing that I do. I don't design a lot of card, like my primary business model is I do branding, right? Like branding is what I do.
Right.
So card decks, like I got approached by Theory 11. Man, was it like 8 years ago when I did Citizens? I'd never done a card deck before, and so I like the idea of a new challenge. And I mean, you know, it's a fun medium to design for. And so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do this. Actually, the Citizens deck, actually, I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say who it was originally for. It was actually originally for Magician, but
Interesting.
there ended up being some things that happened, some disagreements. And so we ended up renaming it last second from the name of the Magician to Citizens. It happened to fit the design pretty well, which is great because it was a great, I was really proud of the design. But I always felt after I did Citizens that I left some things undone. I didn't do any custom quartz. There wasn't a budget for that. I didn't really do anything but the jokers, the back of the card, and the tuck. So I always felt like Citizens was incomplete. And it still kind of rubs me the wrong way. I've even approached that. They're like, hey, why don't we I know they've sold a lot of it. Like, hey, why don't you give me a little more budget and I'll do some quartz for that and we can flesh it out more, do like a special edition. But no, they weren't very interested in that. And I get it, tuck cases are primarily what sell decks and they have a very successful business model where, they put their budget where it counts. Now I did just finish a deck with their 11, the Lord of the Rings deck that's coming out, which is really ridiculous. Like, it's just like, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that release. I can't imagine how much work in it. I know you're a big fan of the property.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. I actually, I almost turned down the project because I was actually really scared to do it because I'm such a big fan, and you never want to let people down. You don't want to let fans down, and I love Lord of the Rings. I'm really into fantasy. We've talked about this a lot. I'm working on my own graphic novel and a card deck with that.
Sure.
If I can ever get that done. But anyway, so Successor came about, and I wanted to do something just really over the top. I'd done standards, and standards is really elaborate. The box is really elaborate. But when you approached me and you had really this focus on craft and doing something excellent, I was like, okay, this could be fun, right? This could be a good pairing. Obviously, my stuff is usually a little bit over the top, and so anyway, so when we got together and we started brainstorming some ideas, and I think the Successor was a pretty early name to have for it, so I thought it was a great name. And immediately I wanted to do an anagram for it.
Initially, we started with something called the Gentleman Vagabond. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah. That's funny.
We started with the Gentleman Vagabond and talked a little bit about that. In fact, like our initial conversations were all dealing with that, right? Like, was that going to be like the name of our deck, and what we were kind of thinking, like, well, hey, how can we do this? And then somewhere early along, mind you, for everyone watching at home, the Successor originally was the second TGW project. The Successor even makes more sense, right, as the name of the second TGW project. But things happened, right? Like, Kevin was really busy and we had to kind of delay things, and the design took a little longer, and aspects kind of the circumstances led to it being pushed to the third deck, and we did the Tempest. I did the Tempest prior. So there was a lot of time to kind of sit on things and think about things. But the Successor name came pretty early, and I remember one of our very first conversations was like, hey man, it'd be really cool to do an ambigram for this, because the Successor has like the symmetry in the letters, right? Like, you could see it on the screen right now above us. You've got the symmetry of the letters in the CC, and then the SS, and then the O and the U and the R and the S, and it's like they was just set up right. Like, talk to me about the process of coming through, like working that out. I know we went through some iterations, and we can show the fans at home some things, some different variations of what these decks were before they ended up being what they're being. But like, what was your process like, kind of creating this and putting this together?
And have you opened those files?
I have not. I'm going to.
Just wait till you open them, man. So you have to understand too. Every designer has a strength, right? Every designer has something that they also their superpower, whatever. For me, it's typography. Typography is my strength, right? And I'm an illustrator by heart,
right?
And so I always lean into the things that I'm the most comfortable with to approach things that I've never done before, or that I'm uncomfortable with. Which in this case, I've never done an ambigram before,
right?
And so I saw that the letter forms lent itself really well to the symmetry that would work for it.
Right.
And I actually have a process. Well, I do have a process video of me drawing part of the ambergram. I just haven't had that time.
Oh, you
I
have
made
to
it like 2
definitely,
years
yeah,
ago.
you have to
I haven't
definitely find
processed the
that.
video.
Yeah, you got to find that for
Anyway,
me, because I'd love to have that be something that I show folks at home. I'd love to be able to show that.
yeah, it's only part of it though. Like I think most of it was drawn. It's just adding in some of the filigree, the
Right,
ornamentation around it,
right, right,
maybe some of the inline
right.
detailing on
Well,
it.
here was one of the issues that I initially had. Just because ambergrams are the nature of which, you're creating type that has to be read in two directions, right? So inherently, that's obviously challenge number one, is being able to do that. But on top of that, you want it to be legible, you want it to be accessible to whoever's coming to it. And I have no doubt that the ambergram is legible now. I had doubts early because the name, the successor, wasn't established.
Right.
We hadn't created the decks, right? Like the decks didn't exist. So I hesitated, and this is my bad. I hesitated and I was like, man, I don't know about this. You did a great job. I just don't know. And I basically, what I did is I made you change it, right? I said, hey, Kevin, let's do an alternate.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure about this. Crazy enough as that sounds, I was like, hey, I'm not sure about this ambergram. Let's do something else. And you came back with the hourglass, the famous hourglass back design that is on the standard decks, right? And it wasn't until
the hourglass is also an ambergram.
Right, absolutely, right. It's the S because it works in both directions.
It's an ambergram S. Yeah,
Right.
So it connects to the ambergram. But yeah, geez, I forgot about that. Like again. And as a designer too, and one of the things people have to understand when you're doing a card deck is it's very much delayed income, and so I have to work on other projects. I mean, obviously, and you help with some payments along the way that help me a little bit, but again, it's still something where you recoup most of your investment when you actually sell it, and so I have to work on other projects to pay for my kids. I have 5 kids. Every night's a challenge. I'll just say that.
Right.
So anyway, so you have to balance yourself out. And again, it's when you're doing something really elaborate. And again, I've designed 8 or 9 decks now. Everyone's my last one, but I keep doing them for some reason. But because and I think part of the reason I do is because the end piece that you're so proud of, and I think Successor, in particular, I'd say my best decks, Successor, and when you wait till you see Lord of the Rings deck, and then I would say probably Standards, and then probably I think the Tuck for Tavern on the Green is really fantastic. I'm really proud of it. I mean, obviously you love all of them. I love Citizen's Tuck Case is pretty cool too. But the process for that, so when you come to me so I'm trying to be efficient, I'm trying to be fast, I'm trying to work at the same time, not cut any corners. And you're like, hey, yeah, this is great, but can we just start over? I'm like, oh shoot. It's like, you're like, anyways. So I'm really glad that once we came back around to, because we kind of threw out the ambergram. Then when we were doing the Dynasty, we kind of brought it back. And I was so excited about that because I really built and you have to understand them. And when you look at my files, you'll see this is, when you're designing the back of a card, it's really intricate. And it's very important that you have a composition that is inherently simple, but has a lot of intricacies to it. So the architecture of the back has to be something that stands out and reads really well from a distance. And so, for example, Citizens, I think, is a really iconic back where you got the 2 circles and then the pendant in kind of the center of that. But most of those, I usually try and find an architectural reference to provide some of the structure for it. And so Successor, usually, I mean, it's funny if you look at my files or see, I grab a lot of references from images and I'll cut it up. I'll make kind of a collage of different pieces. I'll put it together. I did that with Lord of the Rings too, which I actually think is, again, the Tuck Case for Lord of the Rings is ridiculous. I can't wait till you guys see it. It's really over the top.
I'm excited for that.
And Successor too. And the cool thing about Successor is I kind of got obsessed with that kind of 14th, 15th century engravings and these coronation ceremonies. And every character also that I drew, the court cards, is inspired by a monarch.
Oh, cool.
Now, the reference for and you'll see this when you open my file, because there's going to be thousands of images in there of all the things I pulled from for my reference. And I'll pull something from one monarch who I love this expression. I'll pull it from another one. But the Successor is loosely inspired by the War of the Roses and the Tudors and Lancasters. And that's why that's the symbol of the rose in it. And so again, it's kind of more mythological approach to it, but it very much rooted in history where you have these two families battling it over.
Right.
And then we have also the trader cards, right? Which
Right.
On the one panel where you have the people who are surrounding the king who's being
the coronation.
Yeah, the coronation ceremony. Each one of those characters has a weapon that they have behind their back, or they're secretly trying to plot.
I'm gonna open it up. I'm actually gonna open it up.
So you have the one with, and these are all based off of actual ways that monarchs died between like the 14th and 16th century. Some of them are just brutal. So brutal. The worst is the spear. So some monarch got killed because he was using the outhouse, and someone, I guess it was elevated. And so the spear, they went under and did him in. One was a king who he was on a hunt, and his greatest marksman was out with him and accidentally missed the deer and shot him. So the person,
because even the queen has like a goblet of wine.
She's got a goblet,
there's poison in there, right? Like
which poison was a pretty common way that they would.
I want to talk a little bit about that. Let's first of all, I want to run a giveaway because everyone's been so patient. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna run a giveaway. The keyword is going to be ambigram, and here's what you're gonna win. Here's what you're gonna win if one of you guys is gonna walk away with a. I'm gonna sign it, and I'm gonna sign this. This is a alternate colorway of the Dynasty Successor tuck box it's got green, like a mint green foil and gold. So it's an alternate colorway. It's fully embossed. It's a sheet. I'm gonna sign it up here in the corner. I'm gonna let everybody kind of hold on. Don't start yet. Wait. I'm seeing ambigrams in the thing. I haven't started it yet. Hold on. Oh no, never mind. It's working. Everyone's getting me through. Okay, great. All right. Sorry, I'm a novice at this live stuff. I can do videos until the cows come home, but man, I do not know what I'm doing when it comes to lives. So this awesome tuck box is going to be going to belong to one of you. So I'm going to roll that giveaway in a few seconds. I'm going to let everybody catch up. Remember the keyword is ambigram. I want to talk a little bit about the coronation because one of the coolest things that ended up coming out of this was the sculpting, right? This idea that I had to create metal sculpts based on. So do you remember? I don't even remember how early in the process did I come to you and say, "Hey, man, I have this idea." I have no idea. I do not recall. Do you?
No, I don't. I don't recall.
It was pretty early. It felt like it was pretty early on, relatively, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was pretty early on.
Obviously, I did the metal card on the Tempest, and the metal card is great. And everybody out there who owns it, I think. It's a wonderful piece. However, there was some stuff lacking in the execution of that that ultimately, didn't. It wasn't great. It didn't sit well with me. But I learned a lot from that process, from creating that. And I went and I found a 3D artist to faithfully reproduce. And I mean, I think she did a fantastic job. Her name is Tatev. She basically took your drawing and made it 3D.
Oh yeah. No, the dimensionality to it is really, and especially on the sarcophagus, like both of those were interpreted really well, extremely well, and really took, the bone, the very flat illustration and really brought it to life.
I mean, look at this thing.
A whole new level. Yeah.
I mean, this.
I don't even have a sample of that yet.
You will. But this thing.
I know.
I mean, number one, it's heavy as all heck. Like this is, you could like hurt somebody if you hit them with this. And what a gorgeous job, right? Like, so the sculptor on this piece, I'm going to be giving away one of these a little later. It's actually the prototype one, so it doesn't have the filigree down here. But I'm going to be giving away one of these in a little while. This artist, Simone Rassetti, right, is the same artist who did. For those fans out there, for Stockholm 17 fans out there, he's the one who did the House of the Rising Spades tarot box with like the sculpting and like it's like the statue. It's like a giant statue. The House of the Gate, House of the Rising Spade Gate. So he did an amazing job on that, and Lorenzo recommended him to me. And I already had Tatev working on, obviously, the one you see on the screen now, the coronation sculpt. But I knew that I wanted something big, you know, and something impressive. And obviously, Kevin, you designed the original, and I actually, did you send that along to me in that file? Do you know if it's there?
Flat art for the...
Yeah, hold on. Actually, I can find it. I want to show everybody your artwork, which is actually, if everything, we just lost the call. Hold on, shoot. Hold on. All right. Am I back? Things were going so well. Yeah, things were going so well. And I had a little bit of an issue. We had a little bit of an issue. It turns out that for some reason, I thought I had the Zoom upgrade. I think I have the Zoom upgrade, but maybe I'm not logged in properly. So we may have this happen a couple times throughout. So bear with me. We will try to get the process streamlined so that it's a little faster at least. I'm going to get Kevin back in here. Copy invite link. Let me send it to him. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. Okay, so I'm waiting for him to get in here. And then we can keep going and keep talking about this because this was... okay, can you guys hear me? I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Farouk says he thinks it's going to get funded in less than 5 minutes. No way. I don't know what I would do if it were funded in less than 5 minutes. I'm not even sure. So I turned Nightbot off so that, so that it wouldn't time anybody out, but I guess it's still doing that. I'm not quite sure. I guess, Liza's taking care of it, so that's good. Okay, so you can hear me. I'm waiting for Kevin. Here he's back. There he is. Sorry about that, Kevin. That was my fault, I think, because what happened is I remember you asked me, "Hey, you have the Zoom upgrade, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have the Zoom upgrade." I don't think I have the Zoom upgrade, so it basically just quit us out. So in 40 minutes, we're gonna do a repeat. I'm just gonna be faster about it though. So I'll shoot that link out faster to you, so we won't have to have that issue. All right, so I'm going to run the giveaway because I think everyone's been waiting and they're all like in anticipation here. So here we go, rolling the giveaway. Carmelo Watmore, so happy to see a name that I recognize. Carmelo, you are the winner. You win this amazing uncut tuck sheet. I will sign it. Thank you for your support, The Gentleman Wake. I can even put your name on it if you so desire. I don't know if you want to keep your name off of it. You let me know because it's coming to you, and I'll hit you up a little later and get your contact info and all that stuff. In fact, send me a message on Instagram so that I can get your stuff to you, okay? All right, so getting back to our topic. So, yeah, so we had you know,
People keep asking if I have 5 kids. Yes, yes, I have 5 kids.
Man has 5 children.
Yeah, I have 5 kids. It's ages 12 to 2. That's one of them threw up. Actually, my wife took care of the one that threw up last night. Another one was having.
Oh man, that's something else. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Like, how do you even find time to work?
You know, I don't know how I get stuff done sometimes, man. Like, my wife is very patient. She helps a lot. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just get stuff done. Figure it out.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's working,
Yeah.
so that's good.
I mean, no, I'm very disciplined. You know, I have a pretty fixed schedule during the week. I have some flexibility in the evening, so I help get kids down at night. Once kids are asleep around 9 or 10, I work a couple more hours typically. I typically don't work weekends for my own sanity.
Right, right. That makes sense.
My career.
Yeah, yeah. You also need to like recharge the batteries every once in a while, you know? Okay, so
Yeah, but also I just don't have time. I have too many errands I got to do. I got to cut my grass. You know, it takes 2 hours.
right, right.
I take kids and get, you know, they're just doing weekends.
Yeah, so
to
everyone wondering
work.
at home why it
Sometimes, I mean,
took,
obviously if I have to.
so to anyone wondering at home why it took 2 years for the Successor to come out.
Now you know. Now you
Now you
know.
know. Now you know why that's the case. So so anyway, getting back to the whole conversation about the 3D sculpting and so yeah, I was just to explain the process, and I think you were privy to some of this, Kevin. I might have mentioned it to you. Like we had some challenges. So the first challenge we faced with it, with the first challenge was the sculpt, right? Like number one, you have to somehow. Oh, and that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
You have to somehow translate a two-dimensional object, a two-dimensional drawing into a three-dimensional object. So there's challenges, inherent challenges with that. So, you know, without Simone's just amazing work on this thing doesn't become a reality, right? The second challenge we faced was manufacturing it, right? So this thing is huge,
Yeah.
right? Like, by typically, like, you know, these smaller sculpts, like the size of a card, these are pretty easy. You can find a lot of manufacturers that can handle this. It's not very thick. Ultimately, even despite the depth of the sculpture, it's not very thick. It's not very big. To do something like this was a huge challenge because number one, it's too thick for the machines that they use to inject these casts with, right? Unless you're talking about massive machines that the molds cost like $30,000, right? And you're printing.
Yeah, you'd have to produce 100,000 or
Exactly,
more to actually make
so
it profitable.
the small numbers that we were making of this, only 400 units, right? Meant that we were limited as to who could create it, right? And who the machines that they use. So what we had to do, interestingly enough, is, and I have a sample here that I can show everyone. What we had to do is we had to make it, this is a prototype, we had to make it out of two pieces. So if I unscrew these bolts on here on the back, you'll see that the sculpt is actually two pieces. So to get around the depth and the size issues, this was not deep enough to have a problem, and neither was this, but together it was too much, right? There was too much volume. So we had them do it separate. And this is an idea that I had to come up with like on the fly. And I called Simone and I said, Simone, I need you to separate the figure from the background. So that was like a huge challenge, getting that done, and then, you know, making sure that the quality of the sculpt, the edges were clean and everything, and when you put it on the plate, that it would, you know, you can hear the quality of this thing, right? Just by just like listening to the metal clanking together. Like, it had to be flush, it had to be pretty. So one of the things that we did, you see, like down here, this area here, guys at home, if you can see this. This area down here is prone to marking. The reason it's prone to marking is because it's a flat area on a shiny surface, and anytime you buff or sand or or otherwise polish a flat metal material, unless you're working with very fine grit and doing a lot of polishing, like prohibitively expensive procedures, you're gonna end up with some scuffing. I hated this. So I paid $5,000 for this mold, right, to create this mold, and I hated this. I could not stand that somebody was gonna get a $500, whatever, $470 Sarcophagus box set at home, and it wasn't gonna be perfect. So thankfully, we had separated the two pieces, right? And I had Simone redo the back plate and add filigree, and we ended up with, I mean, this thing, which is just perfect. It's just perfect, right? So it eliminated that problem, but again, it was an additional like $2,500 cost to like redo the plate, and but to me, it was worth it because I had this vision of like when somebody gets this package at home, when somebody receives their $500 box set, I want the user experience to be, oh man, wow, like this is amazing. That's part of the reason I went back, and in the initial, I'm going to show everyone the initial. Here's the initial box. This is the very first prototype that I ever got. Number one, the color is all off on this. This color is like, it's like I don't know, like almost like copper. It's definitely not the correct color. It doesn't match the gold of the top. Two, it's raised. You can feel the texture of the raised, like the lacquer wasn't thick enough. Like I wanted a smooth piano lacquer finish. I wanted to be able to run your hand across the face of it and not feel anything other than the smoothness of the lacquer. This did not have that. This has like you can feel the raised kind of surface. In fact, I don't know if maybe you can even see it a little bit. It's very hard to tell, but there's like a raised surface. I didn't like that. Secondly, look at the size of the lip of this lid, right? It's enormous. It's like a shoebox style thing. I hated it. I was like, this is not the user experience. This is not what I want people to feel when they open it. Additionally, because this thing's so heavy, this thing was, and it's got Tempest decks in here now, but this thing was light. Like, oh man, this doesn't feel right at all. Initially, I had EVA foam inside, like to kind of protect the decks, and I was like, no, let's get rid of the foam. Let's get some wood in there. That's vegan leather line it, so it protects the decks and gives the bottom half equal depth, equal heft to the top half, so that when you take the lid off the bottom, it still feels like a substantial thing. Like all of these things are thoughts that I had throughout the process of putting this together and really dialing in where we ended up. There's still some changes to be made. Okay, even the product that appeared on the video that I showed you earlier. There's still some changes that need to be made, some adjustments that need to be made, but I'm ultimately extremely happy and pleased with the end result. I can't wait to send one to you, Kevin, because I think you're gonna love it. You've got at least 3 coming there. We made 400, 3 of which are Kevin's. Okay, everyone at home. So blame him if you guys try to get one and you can't get it.
I read these comments. You guys, these comments are pretty funny.
I have not read them. Actually, I've been too busy talking. But yeah, I'm gonna go
no, I don't plan on having another kid. 6. Just so you know, my wife is one of 11. I'm one of 8.
Oh,
we both
wow.
have big families. I'm not planning on one-upping her family. You know, I actually get. I'll take it as a compliment. The Clark Kent thing. I actually get that pretty often. Which I'm not complaining. I complain at all. I do work out a lot, so I'm in pretty dang good shape. I'm very proud of that.
Good.
Anyway, if you want tips on maintaining 10% body fat, I'm your man. Anyway,
I'm gonna actually hit you up for those tips.
Hey, I got it all down to a science, man.
The bottom is felted. This will be the case. Somebody saying about felt. Yeah, the bottom is felted. Like I wanted to definitely make sure that it protects the surface of wherever you decide that you're gonna put it.
For you, Omar, like what the successor box is, and I'm proud of the standards box, but what the successor box is what I was hoping the standards box could have been.
Right.
Again, it's a beautiful box. It doesn't have the depth in the lid and the engraving, and part of that was just cost prohibitive. And again, you're just able to figure out the production on that was really innovative and really amazing, and it shows. Like it's exquisite, and I can't wait to get my hands on that. So
so this is the final box, or at least what we're calling the final box. Obviously the colors match. The lip of the lid is nice and streamlined and tight to the form factor. It has these beautiful thumb grooves, and I don't know if you guys can see it. These beautiful thumb grooves on either side the lid is magnetically held in place. Now it's heavy, so it's kind of like, hey, it holds it, like it's holding pretty well. And yeah, so it's magnetically held in place. When you open it, the decks will be inside. The slots will be accommodating. So the first and last slots will be wider to accommodate the metal sculpt of the coronation that you're looking at over the images right now. And then the decks will fit in these vegan leather lined slots that we've created. I mean, we've spared no expense. The back is vegan leather lined, and it's all sealed up. You can't see anything. The screws, none of that is visible. In fact, you can't even see the seam. It's very hard to even see the seam where the two pieces match. Like, if I hadn't told you it was two pieces, you wouldn't know. And that's been part of the process to get that to be that way. Obviously, Kevin did a phenomenal job with the artwork on the sides. Each of the faces is unique. So every face on the sarcophagus box is unique. One side, this side, has all the different pips, and all the pips are super detailed. Each pip represents like a different, for me, each pip represents a different part of the structure of society, right? You've got the royalty, the spades, the blue blood class. You've got the military class in the club pip. You've got the people, like the represented by a tower, by the city, and then the heart, which I think is the individual, which is like, so like the different aspects of society are represented. We have obviously the successor ambigram makes an appearance because of course it has to. So that's on one face. This is one of my favorite faces, which is it literally says the successor. I don't know why it might be mirrored right now on the screen, but
it's not bad.
Yeah, you can read it's the successor. It's probably mirrored because I'm using the zoom camera, so it's got me inverted. But it's got the different shields with each letter of the successor, and then on this side it's got the TGW shield monogram, which I love, and the little rhinoceros beetle with its wing spread, a couple of statues on either end to give it an architectural feel. You did an awesome job on this, man.
Thanks.
When you're designing something like this, what is the process? Like, how talk to me about that?
Oh, geez. I try to make my designs, I try to design them in compartments, very, very much inspired by responsive websites. And so with responsive websites, usually you're going to have, obviously everything I do is, again, branding's my expertise. I just got roped into designing card decks. I mean, again, but so I think in compartments, I think systematically. I'm always looking at how do the pieces relate. How can I take one component and have it extend horizontally, vertically? And so for example, when I design a brand, one kind of, I'd say one test piece I usually do is stationary, because you have vertical, you have horizontal, you have square proportions. And so it's easy to adjust things responsibly for a website in that way, especially things that are really intricate. And it's kind of, you would almost think that it's not intuitive because of typically, I'll give you a comparison. So there's lettering and there's type design. Mm-hmm. Type design is system-based. You design individual letters that can be rearranged infinitely into an alphabet.
Right.
Lettering is a one-off illustration. It's not system-based. And so how do you take something that's inherently non-system based and systemize it? And so I do that by creating a grid structure that allows it to accommodate different compositions, whether it be square, horizontal, or vertical. And so if you look at like the box, for example, you've got the shields, and when you open up my file, you'll see some of the reference material I pulled for some of this. I'm always looking for structural reference material in the swipe that I pull. But the shields are really great because they're individual pieces that hold the letters for successor.
Right.
And if you take those, you could rearrange them into a grid. You could rearrange them horizontally, vertically. They work very well horizontally. And also, and again, the nature of Successor 2 is it's very architecturally based on old sarcophagus from the monarchs. And so there's a lot of boxed off pieces that are highly versatile and modular. And so that's really how it begins. And so the tuck case, because again, I'm thinking in systems, I'm thinking, okay, how can this apply to the top flap? How can it apply to the sides? And so I'm already thinking systematically how it can rearrange these different compositions. And so then applying it to a box, obviously I had to create some more custom components to accommodate some of that, but it made it more natural and a little bit easier to do that. So
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and definitely. And I mean, obviously you want the repeating forms, right? Like you want those repeating forms to appear again. Obviously the lid in here, and on the stream, you can see, everybody at home can see the kind of the 2-dimensional version that Kevin did before Simone turned it into the 3-dimensional, 3-dimensional art.
And part of that will be used for the brick box. It's adjusted a little bit to work for the brick box too. So it will be more the flat art for that. Obviously the 3D is a bit cooler.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, inherently because it's 3-dimensional, but and also because it's an interpretation, I think it's really interesting. Like when you have, by the way, I want to say hello to Stockholm 17, Lorenzo joining the chat. Thank you very much, Lorenzo, for being here. I really appreciate it, man. Lorenzo, by the way, has been absolutely amazing as a friend, beyond ex-collaborator and a collaborator, really a collaborator, not even ex, because we still collaborate now. The fact that he walked me through the parlor, he really was instrumental in me learning a lot about how to run a campaign, and that's been amazing. But I want to thank him. Oh, Wormwood is in the chat. Wormwood, for anybody out there who watches some of my other non-playing cards content, Wormwood is in the chat. We have some very exciting news on that front. So today is about the Successor. We're not going to talk about that yet, but very exciting news. Okay, that's all I'm going to tease about that. Okay, so absolutely, Kevin. The process is a deep and lengthy one. And actually, I'm going to open up your artwork and we're going to look at it soon. Before we do that, I want to do another giveaway. All right. So I'm going to give away. Here's what what we're going to do. We're going to give away another tuck sheet. How's that?
Hey, Stockholm. No, keep up the comments. I occasionally read the comments. They're great.
All right, let's see. Which one am I going to give away here? I think we're going to do one of these black ones because I think the black one is actually kind of cool. So
I'm very much a hermit. Like I don't, I live in the mountains for a reason because I wanted to get away from people. So you pulling me out of like my hobbit hole is it's kind of nice. I mean, I don't mind talking to people. I've got 5 kids. I got my wife. Both our families are really big. I like living a quiet life and creating awesome stuff. So it's fun to chat, but definitely, pulling me out of my hobbit holes.
So I just want to, somebody's asking, the launch is at noon. So the launch is just about a little bit over an hour away. So in 1 hour and 3 minutes, we are going to be launching. Super excited to push that launch now button. All right. So I'm going to be giving away this tuck box. So this is a variant of the Successor Prism tuck box. Yeah. This one still has the prismatic foil, but it also has a black foil that's very nice. Not the final. The final has purple, but this one is still very nice. I'm going to be giving away this. So for that, I'm going to do, let's do keyword. I'm going to type it in first. I'm going to do another keyword. The keyword is going to be prism. So go ahead and everybody, hold on, let me make sure that this is set. I'm resetting eligibility. Am I doing this right? Everybody, somebody type prism in the chat there. Make sure that it's gonna work. Today is all about the Successor. Thanks, Stormwood. Is that Bobby? Is that Bobby on the other end of that, or is that someone else? I'm assuming it's Bobby.
Also, if anybody has questions, feel free to post them in the chat.
Okay, yeah. All right, so it's working. So prism is the word. So we're gonna run that giveaway. You only have to say it once. You don't have to repeat or anything or spam it. So just one time is good. Okay, so getting back to this conversation about all this stuff. I feel like there's so much to talk about, right? And this part of the issue with these launches is that there's so much. The process is so intricate and so interesting. Why don't we open up your older artwork
sure.
and start to take a look at some of that stuff, and you can kind of walk me through. So I just
careful which file you open. Some of them are
enormous.
Probably about as messy as my desk here, which thankfully you can't see. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah, you should see my room too. It's like, all right. So I have a bunch of different files here. Is there anyone in particular you want me to open? R1.2. Should that be the first one that I open?
Honestly, I don't remember which one. I'm trying to think. Let
Okay,
me see which
I'll just take a
one.
look at them. I'll bring him up and kind of see and take a look at them and
Yeah,
see what comes up. I'm really excited to see how this campaign does. You know, just because of how ambitious it is. There's a couple of files that it's wanting to link to that are missing. Oh, this is really cool. It's like
hidden
a bunch of
files.
typography and stuff that you did.
Yeah, I think the type one will be interesting to look at because you can see just some reference I pulled,
Yeah.
some
Okay, so let's do
beginnings.
that. Let's do
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna bring this up and we can look at all the different kinds of typography that you pulled. Let me bring it up on stream here.
See, Leto, is that how you pronounce it? Do I think the successor outlived the art of play standards? You know, I think it's a more complete vision. It's. I mean, I'm really proud of standards, and I mean, one day maybe I'll finish the actual branding book I've been working on. Working on a few books. I mean, I mentioned I'm working on that graphic novel, which I've been working on since I'm like 14. I'm really, really very excited about that. But yeah, I do think Successor is my best deck today. I think the Successor, my Lord of the Rings deck are my most realized decks to date. And I feel like I get better with each deck. I get more experience. I understand things a little bit more, and so I get a little bit better. How large are the final files? I only gave him like 5 of my like 30 files, and those were like half a gig. So a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot here. Okay, so
You will see some things that didn't make the cut. Yeah. Okay. So here we go.
here's just like some of your reference. I'm not gonna be looking at the screen, so if something happens in chat, let me know. So these were just, I guess these were ambigrams that you pulled, like fire, earth, air, water, like to kind of inspire you, like to get you start to get you thinking about how to do an ambigram.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, those are from shoot. What's the Dan Brown novel? There's the Da Vinci Code, and there's the shoot, the other one. They have those, and it's by a really, I can't remember the guy's name who did those ambigrams, but they're really well done ambigrams. And black lettering tends to lend itself very well to ambigrams because of the symmetry of the forms, both above and below. Anyway, they're very symmetrical letter forms. And so, and plus it also fits the theme very, very well. It's very hard to do an ambigram in like a sans serif, for example. Very hard to do. There's some people who are very good at that. And so I wanted to go into something. I've done a lot of black lettering type, and so I'm very familiar with it. So I pulled some things that I thought were excellent. I mean, those ambigrams, the air, the fire, and then if you see there's one where there's all 4 of them together. It's really phenomenal. But anyway, yeah. And then just some typical classic scripts. I was looking at some different ornamentation. Like if you look at the M there, I was like, okay, and I didn't end up getting some of that detailing in it because it just wasn't necessary. It became, and this is one thing that's important when you're doing really intricate stuff, is you have to have areas of repose.
Right.
You have to have area of relief. If everything is just ridiculously tuned in, it's hard for your eye to focus in one place. So you have to have balance the intricacies with areas of repose and space so that it highlights and creates a sense of hierarchy. Hierarchy is really important. And so I always try to create a strong sense of hierarchy in all that I do. Typically 3 levels, a big, a small, and a medium. And that typically if you can do that, that usually produces a pretty good composition.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this and seeing how, like, for instance, here's a very kind of an early
Angels and Demons, also, thank you.
Yeah, the U changed, like the shape of the O and the U changed. Obviously I like where we ended up, but that's interesting. It's kind of a cool way of kind of looking at almost there's a little bit more of a separation of the bottom of the S with this one, which is kind of interesting too. So it's really cool to see like the evolution of how you went about like kind of arriving at the successor ambigram that we ended up with.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to walk down memory lane because usually I don't ever go back to my old files. I move on, and part of it is because I'm so busy. I'm always working on something new. Like right now I'm working on a whiskey label. I'm working on a cannabis brand. It's very different from any style that I've done. I'm working.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I'm always working on a lot of different projects. And so I'm usually always moving forward. So I don't really go back often and see some of the progress. So it's kind of cool to see that. But yeah, I'm always. And it's kind of, I have a friend who's a writer, a really great writer, and and she refers to writing as basically just endless editing. And I think that's the same with design, is you're constantly trying to refine and adjust in the trenches. I mean, I figure things out in the trenches. Obviously, you have an idea, you have concept, you have a theme, and you want to carry that through, but very much it's in the trenches figuring it out.
This is really interesting, Kevin. I want to talk about this because I'm looking at, so what I'm looking at here is basically a giant mood board.
Yeah, pretty much that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a giant mood board of all the kind of the places where you took inspiration to create this deck. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You've got some this is a perfect example of something that really kind of ended up coloring what we arrived at, which is like this kind of 14th, 15th century illustration style,
Yeah, which is funny because a lot of this, and I've shown you some work on my graphic novel, but a lot of this actually became very good inspiration for my it's like Art Deco, noir, old 14th century engravings for my graphic novel, right. Which anyway, a lot of this really helped me figure out some things for that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, look, like this is awesome. Like you saw this and you said, hey, this is kind of cool, this frame and kind of figure and frame artistic style. Let me pay homage to that. And you did your own kind of variant on that, and you kind of extrapolated your own kind of ideas about how to do that. That's pretty cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, typically I pull from, I'll pull hundreds of reference materials, and there's so much inspiring work out there. And again, for me, I'm looking for architectural components, framing things. I'm looking for details. Yeah. I'm looking for ornamentation, especially with the court cards, filigree that's going to adorn different vestments that they're wearing.
Yeah.
Accoutrements that can help augment, space.
Yeah, that's very cool. And even like here, I'm looking at an older version of the back design here. This changed pretty significantly from here. Although obviously the bones are very similar to where we ended up. Number one, the S is not two-way. It's a one-way design.
The sand, originally it wasn't flipped, but I needed to change that. I kind of knew, but anyway, sometimes you want to experiment with
it still looks cool. And also I think the beetle got better. The new beetle.
The beetle did get better. Yeah, that was an early job of the beetle.
And then obviously we got rid of this spade shape. I wanted to stay away from the spade shape just because I did it on Parlor. So that was one of the things I mentioned to you pretty early on, and actually where we ended up is better. We have like the structural architectural kind of thing that you did, which I really like. So this changed quite a bit, even as close as the design for the coronation ended up being to this original version. You did change the headpiece on the bishop.
Yeah, I thought the other one didn't quite feel the right period. It didn't quite feel appropriate for some reason. Cool. Someone's asking me where I find my reference material. Pinterest, Google. Sometimes I'll find little archives of stuff. Really, just anywhere. I have a really good eye for finding things. Obviously there are things that inspire me. I'm always looking for things that inspire me. And sometimes I'll bookmark something, like I'll see something like, oh, I got to do something with that. And maybe a year or two down the road, I'll do something with it. But I'm always looking up good reference material, and really anywhere you can find it.
Yeah, this is a good piece of reference right here. This image here, this I guess it's Jesus figure or whatever.
Yeah. Like a lot of those old, coronation ceremonies and things, a lot of the great etchings are very much rooted in Christianity, right? The church and how it's intrinsically connected to the monarchy.
Right.
There's and you can see there are a lot of the compositions, a lot of the architecture I pull from that, even some of the detailing.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. It's really cool to see the process and kind of look at this kind of process, like the way you kind of arrived at the court cards that we ended up using. This was an original idea for a court card. We ended up not using it. I remember this being a very early kind of version of what the courts might look. And I asked you to, hey, let's make them a little bit more traditional. I think was the kind of the idea.
Yeah.
But still very cool. I could see you here working out like the hourglass. Like, hey, what is this hourglass going to look like? And you got the design pretty fast. It looks like. I mean, you figured out that, you know, uh, figured out
Yeah, I
the
mean,
the kind of the S shape very early on.
yeah, like again, like as a brand designer, figuring out systems, I'm always looking to set the template. I mean, just like some of these, I look back and like that dude's really ugly. Like I didn't quite nail that guy's face. I think I made some tweaks, and it is a little flat. Like I think this is much more stylized in terms of their body forms as the final ones ended up being. But again, I'm always trying to define a template. So pick like a king, a queen, a jack.
Right, I can see you here,
Back,
like finding
panel.
the inspiration for the King of Spades
I
in this figure here.
and yeah, it's funny. I mean, funny. I'm seeing now the hourglass. It's
Yeah,
funny. I totally forgot where I pulled that from. Again, there's so many pieces I pull from, but yeah, it's interesting to see that piece again. I found.
yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, yeah, because you kind of took this framing and kind of made it your own, a very similar style. Very cool, man. Very cool to
Yeah,
see.
someone's asking why the hourglass. The hourglass thematically sums up the idea of succession because you know that someone's running out of time. And so it also is an S, which relates to successor. And so it becomes a typographic component. It basically is an icon. It's essentially a logo for the deck, successor. And so, yeah, it's this idea that you're constantly flipping. And because it's an ambigram, you're constantly flipping the hourglass back and forth between succession. And so
Right,
it becomes a really great
it's a motif. It's definitely
visual metaphor for
yeah,
that.
it's absolutely a good motif. There's some interesting things happening here, like you some early designs that you did here that are really cool. The hourglass here is kind of unrefined. You were still kind of figuring out what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes I'll know that I need to update a piece, but I'll put something as a placeholder, just composition to nail some of the surrounding accoutrements. And so,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but we ended up very close to this. Like our final, you weren't too far off. You didn't have to really struggle too much to find where we kind of ended up getting, which is cool.
Yeah, geez, I'm looking at that piece. Yeah, I forgot about that piece.
Yeah, so this is already now starting to take form.
Yeah, the piece on the left is kind of ugly. I'm embarrassed that people can actually look at that.
It's okay, man. It's okay. It's fine.
I mean, it's fine.
It's the process. Listen,
Yeah.
we did this. I did this very similar. I did this very similar exercise with Lautrec when we launched Tempest, and it's the same with Lautrec. Like his early attempts at kind of figuring out what the deck was going to be were not great, and that's fine because that's the process. Like the process is a little bit feeling it out. By the way, I just got a 5-minute warning here on Zoom, so FYI, I'm going to have to repeat the Zoom thing again, unfortunately. So just bear in mind and keep that in mind, everyone watching at home. I'm going to run this second one more time. Anybody who came in late, type in the word Prism. I'm about to roll that giveaway. I'm going to roll that Prism giveaway. And what we'll do is the one right before launch will be the Sarcophagus lid prototype. I'm going to give that away. So the one right before launch will be that. So everybody should stick around for that. All right. So once again, you want to write the word Prism. What's that? Lorenzo's saying, I hide my early sketches and curse them with magic sigils so that they cannot be found broken. Yeah, he doesn't want anybody seeing his early work.
I mean, who does? Who? Because
Yeah.
again, like it's like a sketchbook. I mean, I actually don't draw much anymore because I'm so efficient with the pen tool and basically like drawing an Illustrator. I'm as precise or more. Sometimes I'll draw by hand, but mostly I just get in because I'm much more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's interesting. All right, I'm gonna roll this. Here we go. I'm rolling it in 3, 2, 1. Rolling it. Dixon Loke. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dixon, congratulations. You win this variant edition uncut tuck of the Successor Dynasty Prism deck. I will sign it and thank you for your support. Thank you very much, guys. That's the second giveaway today. Very, very, very cool. Happy to make sure that somebody gets that. All right. So, so now I'm looking at basically your process for the court cards, right? Like how you went through designing the silhouettes, the forms of the court cards. I love these courts, man. They're unique they aren't. They are accurate to the style that we are working in, which I think is ultimately the thing that you want most, right? You want your court cards to fit the motif and the themes of your deck, and I think that you really accomplished that. So congratulations and thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you. Quick shout out to Fabian out there. Let's see, what was your yeah. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Octane Baby. Fabian and I share this mutual affinity for U2. U2 is kind of how I got into music. So
yeah.
And there's also one thing I really like from Bono. I mean, Bono sometimes can piss me off, but I like Bono occasionally. But one thing he says is that you can set the stage for creating greatness, and it either comes or doesn't come. And I mean, I like to think that more often than not it comes and it doesn't, but I think that's the thing, is you can put the hours in, you go through your process, you grab the best things you can. Ultimately, every project you have, you're trying to create the best thing you can with that project. And I think Successor has such a high ceiling for what we could do. And I really feel like we nailed that ceiling. And because we pushed them, and Amar being someone who is just ruthlessly into the details and craft, and a purveyor of meticulous attention to detail. That's a great partnership. Not everybody I work with is like that. Sometimes I get great vendors and partners who really want to produce something exquisite, and sometimes you don't get it. Like Cotton House Hotel, for example. Like most of the collateral in the hotel sucks. It's horribly produced. It's a beautiful, beautiful building, but I get it. They put their money, where they needed to put their money, and I was super proud of that brand, but when you design something and the end piece is better than you imagine it to be, that's awesome. And I really feel like Successor is that. I really feel like the finished piece is better than I imagined it to be. And that's saying something. I
will say that I agree. I think we ended up somewhere better than I imagined it, which is interesting because I have a lofty imagination.
Likewise.
But arriving somewhere where I was pleased with, more pleased than I thought I would be. Which is saying quite a bit because I had high expectations. I knew from very early on that I wanted to work with you on a deck project. But I think you surpassed my expectations with regards to where we ended up. So I'm very happy and very proud of that.
Hey, if this one does well enough, maybe we'll come back
do something else.
Yeah.
Well, hey everyone out there who's watching this right now, make sure you back it for as much as possible.
I'll come out of retirement, card deck retirement.
So we can get. We've already, we've spitballed some ideas for what would happen if we did really well on this one and work on something again. I'm excited to announce that. All right, so. What's next? So we looked at you went in. So the pips, okay, the pips are amazing. Like they're super cool. I love that you did custom aces, basically power aces all the way around. Every deck has every ace has intricate artwork, and you made some changes based on. I think our Zoom just ended. Okay, I'm back. Am I back? Can you guys hear me? I'm hoping you guys can hear me. I'm going to get Kevin back in here. I'm so sorry about this. This is so unprofessional. You know what the worst part is? The Zoom call is going to end right when I have to launch the actual campaign. Like I got 40 minutes and it's 11:19 right now. What a disaster that's going to be. I hope you guys can still hear me now. Can you hear me? I'm hoping that the answer is yes. Okay. Yeah. It looks like we are good. What I might do is when I get the 10-minute warning, I'm going to start it over. Okay. So I'm not going to let it go that far so it doesn't cut us out. So everybody knows that it's coming. and that way we won't have this issue again. I'm very, very sorry about that. I really should have upgraded. I was gonna run it on Microsoft Teams, but then I couldn't get. It's just a nightmare. Like running live streams, I do not. I don't envy anybody who does live streaming because it's rough. It's rough to get it right. Anyway, I'm letting Kevin know that there's another link. So yeah, so really cool of everyone to show up. I'm really excited. I think it's amazing. So many of you have come by to say hello and to kind of drop in and show support. And I'm hoping everyone comes back at noon because we've had quite a few people come in and out. But I'm hoping everybody comes back at noon and partakes in the actual launch of this thing. All right, Kevin's here. All right, you're back. You're back. Okay. All right. I was just letting everybody know that what I'm gonna do for the next one is I'm going to preemptively start it over because otherwise it's gonna be right at the launch that the Zoom is gonna cut out. Yeah, so we don't want the launch to cut out. We don't want the Zoom meeting to cut out in the middle of the launch. That would not be good. Kevin, this is your first Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
This so it's a little different, right? Like to make a deck and do it and release it in this way for you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's funny. I think I don't know if you follow fantasy writers at all. There's a big fantasy writer who I love, Brandon Sanderson, and
yeah, he had a huge campaign. Like,
I mean, because I think people. It's funny. Like I think I had this view that if you do something on Kickstarter, like it's lesser or something, and I really don't think that's the case at all. I think it's actually the model of the future. I think people self-funding and bypassing distributors or larger companies to fund them. I think that is the future. Like for me, for example, like I'm interested in it because again, I want to do my graphic novel series and a future card deck that accompanies that and whatever other products with it. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's an excellent way that could potentially provide that opportunity. So. Yeah, man. Anyway, it's exciting. It's fun. It's fun to try. And again, I think Brandon Sanderson. I don't know what his publishers think about that. I mean, he probably made more money.
Oh, I don't think he's ever going to work with his publishers again.
Well, he may not. Now they're going to have distribution. They're going to have an infrastructure that will obviously facilitate his distribution of his books, internationally translations and stuff. But he's such a Brandon Sanderson is just such and he's really amazing in terms of his entrepreneurship and what he does. So but I think he's proven that he can basically demand whatever he wants, which is a good position to be in. I think we all would want to be in that position, right?
Absolutely. No, most definitely. Most definitely. What's interesting is that somebody's trying to steal you away and hire you away from me by offering you double what I pay.
Hey, who just did? Somebody just thought. Well, let's see, Kevin.
But hold on a second. I want to talk about this for a second because I think there's a vast underestimation of what my input on this project is. If people think that just hiring you away from me is it's all it takes. I mean, no offense to you. You are a phenomenal designer and a great partner to work with. But I bring a little bit to the table.
You do need partnership, like because I mean, there are things that I just don't want to do. I don't want to handle distribution. I don't want to. I mean, I manage a lot of production on certain projects I work on, but I don't enjoy that part of it. Correct. I don't like doing. I like to do what I enjoy, which is I love the design, I love the craft, I love the concepting phase when I'm creating things. I mean, I enjoy that. I enjoy the philosophical approach to design and stuff like that. That's where it's enjoyable to me. But I mean, I'm always open. I'm always open to working with new partners and vendors and stuff and clients. I mean, hit me up. We can always discuss things. But again, I do think people need to be aware that just because you hire me doesn't mean like Art of Play has great vendors. Theory 11 has solid vendors. Now, Theory 11 obviously has a specific business model where they have a price point they work with, and so they can't go too over the top like we're doing. And that works. I mean, and they're extremely successful, and they produce incredible card decks. Theory 11. I mean,
their price point is. I mean, I shudder to think. I don't know how many decks I would have to print to get at that $9.99 price point.
Yeah, they have the distribution, and then now they're in Walmarts. I mean, they were in Target, Walgreens. I mean, so they have distribution where they can sell at that point and make good profits because they sell so much, and they have vendors who can produce that much, and they don't do limited. They do some limited edition runs, but not a ton.
Right.
And that works for them great. And again, I think you've been smart because you positioned yourself in a different way to veer away from what Theory 11 is doing, which is smart. I mean, like Keen's Wild has their own model and they're very successful. And I think, and I have respect for that. I think it's smart to differentiate and offer something unique. I mean, that's branding, right? That's positioning 101 is you want to offer something unique that nobody else does and be the first to do it and do it as well as you can.
It's interesting because obviously you being a brand designer, you know, building a brand is a really tough process and it takes a lot of time and energy and effort and it takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of being in the right place at the right time. But also opportunity, you know, is part of it is, you know, preparing for yourself for that moment when the right time is there. Like it's a multi-stage process, like to build a brand. And I know it firsthand now what it's like. I just in the 3 years or so, about 4 or 5 years or so now that I've been TheGentlemanWake, I've learned so much. Every year teaches me so much. And this last project, I mean, this has been by far the biggest learning experience, and I'm really better off for it. And I think you could probably speak to the same thing about, like, you know, from your first design to your last design, like the process is a constant level of evolution. You're always leveling up.
Oh yeah. And that's and it's both intimidating and it's also part of what's thrilling about it is consistent. I mean, it's like have you ever read the book by Ed Catmull, who's one of the founders of Pixar? It's called Creativity Inc. And he talk about this and this is the thing that's also why creativity is so stressful is because there is no fixed formula to guarantee the same result. So, you know, movies and the creative process follows a very similar structure to movie outlines. So every movie has 3 acts typically, right? The creative process also has 3 acts. You have your discovery phase, the excitement phase, where you first get a project, you think of all the possibilities of what it could be, what it could embody. And then you have act 2, which is the twilight phase. It's the low of the low moment. And like, so I'll give you an example, like Hercules, when he gets betrayed by Meg and he loses his power, that's the culmination of act 2 is when it's the low of the low moments.
Right, the nadir.
Thought something was going to work out, it didn't work out. And then you have the resolution, act 3. And so in creativity, it's very similar. Sometimes you have a period where it's a twilight phase where you have no idea if you're going to be able to get through it. And as you get more experience, you learn to navigate those waters better. But just because you have lots of experience and you have lots of success doesn't guarantee future success. And so it can be really stressful in that sense. But once you get to the act 3, once you get the resolution and it's successful, it's very exhilarating. It's very, you get, I mean, it's what you live for, right? It's creating something exceptional that you didn't know you could do. And you want to repeat it. But then you get back to the twilight phase, like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm retiring again. I'm going to retire from car design again. And,
to retire. Somebody's asking why the black triangles. No, these are not final. These are not final. These are just like reference artwork that Kevin was gracious enough to send me. These were not the final designs for the aces. So there's missing artwork here.
So you can see there are different pieces that I'm working on. I'm filling in. I'm feeling out the overall composition to see where I need to make adjustments. And so I think we ended up putting the beetle at the bottom.
The beetle's in the bottom, and at least on the ace of spades, it's on the bottom. These are just more kind of artwork here.
Yeah. So you're seeing in progress. You're seeing the incomplete pieces.
Right. So you're not seeing like the final. Now we're starting to get into here's where you started to design the dynasty. So this is cool because I haven't shown any of this yet. So these are like the rough kind of early version. Well, no, these are pretty much fine. There's a couple of additions, a couple of minor alterations, but these are the coins that we will have. Obviously they'll be converted into 3D. They'll have some 3D structure and some 3D if we get funding to reach that goal. So
you should also show the interior pattern. It's actually one of my favorite patterns. It's one of my favorite patterns I've ever done for a deck, actually.
Yeah, the interior pattern is very, very cool. I'm trying to think of where it might be. I think I might have to.
It may not be in this. It won't be. It'll be.
No. It's probably in one of my files. I just don't remember where it is.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look for it. But yeah, the interior pattern is very cool. It's kind of got some shields, like some nice the successor shield. It's got the TheGentlemanWake shield. It's very it's really cool, and I'm excited to hopefully get to that stretch goal, to achieve that stretch goal. Yeah. Okay. So before we move on, I want to start the next giveaway. So the next giveaway I'm doing is, as I've mentioned, I'm giving away this prototype successor lid. Okay. So this is a prototype lid. It's finished. So it has the vegan leather. It has the black lacquer on the sides. It's a finished item. It doesn't look unfinished. You can put it on your desk. You can put it on your mantle. It looks really cool. However, the only difference is it does not have the filigree down here that I talked about earlier that kind of filled out the image and made it a little bit more less prone to the buffing scuffs that you get from polishing from polishing the metal. But anyway, I still think this is a fantastic prize. So we're gonna give this away. The keyword is sarcophagus. So everyone type in the word sarcophagus, which is a tricky word to type. So make sure you spell it right. Sarcophagus is going to be the word that we're going to use to give this away. So
getting called out for checking out Instagram here by Fabian.
What's that?
This Fabian's messaging me on Instagram, and he's like, "Hey, I see you looking at your phone." I'm like, "Well, I mean, I'm trying to respond to multiple people here."
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and these streams are always like that, and you kind of have to be on top of things otherwise. So one of the things that's tricky about these things, and maybe obviously, Kevin, you're kind of insulated from this, but marketing, holy shit, this has been the longest month of my life. It feels like I have been annoying as all heck, I'm sure, to many Facebook people and Facebook groups and followers on Instagram and followers on YouTube, constantly talking about this. I feel like, but you know what? If you don't talk about it, it's like, you're just doing yourself a disservice, because, that's the whole point, right? The whole point is to make sure people know that when you hit that launch now button, when I hit that launch now button in a little while, it's going to be a big deal, hopefully.
Right.
Here it is. Here's the ready to launch. Here's the ready to launch button.
This page makes all I do is in card decks now. For a while. And I go in and out of phases where I post a lot. Because I do everything. Like I don't have somebody managing my Instagram page. Like I don't, and I work a lot. And again, I have 5 kids. So, I'm all into the gun with something. And so I wish I could post more. I wish I could do reels. I wish I could do process stuff. I'm just so short on time. I'm just in a different phase in life,
Yeah.
Some of my peers have maybe 1 kid too. It's like, hey, just triple that and see what life is like. It's I don't have it any way though. I love my kids, so
of course,
so it's wonderful.
Yeah, no, of course, but yeah, the
in fact, maybe one of them will come in here in a minute and join us. Who knows? My 4-year-old might pop in here at any moment.
Video bomb you,
infiltrate. So maybe she might like that. Did you see that British reporter? He's sitting there, and that daughter kind of cracks his head.
That's hilarious.
I thought that was really great.
That's hilarious. Yeah, man. So yeah, the process of promotion never ends. This has been crazy, and we have a lot of people helping us. There's going to be some other influencers that are going to be releasing some videos soon. I know Kier Gomes. I know Magic Orthodoxy is going to be previewing some of the decks. Obviously, we had Gavin, who's in the chat, or who was in the chat, do some stuff on Instagram. That's always really cool to see other people's kind of take on your cards and your process. Really interesting, and I want to talk about this because it's important, and I think it bears mention as we near the launch. We're only 25 minutes away or so. So I want to talk about the tiers, and if there's anybody out there who's got questions about the tiers, now is the time to ask it, because I want to talk a little bit about it. I want to clarify what the top tier is, because there's a sarcophagus tier, which is the crown jewel kind of tier that comes with the sarcophagus, that has the 6 editions, including the exclusive to the set Prism, Dynasty Prism edition. But then there's one other tier that only has 29 available slots. That tier is the rightful heir tier, and that one, the reason there's only 29 is because I only have 29 prototypes. So that tier, I'm going to be offering a chance for folks to own one of the 29 prototypes. So what is a successor prototype? This is really interesting. So part of the process of making sure that we had physical copies of these decks to show, to photograph, to videotape, was that we needed to have enough. Obviously, we needed to have variants, all 6 variants. I wanted to be able to show people what they were. I also really hoped to be able to show people not just like crappy, makeplayingcards.com copies of what the artwork was going to look like. I wanted it to be as realistic and as close to the final project as possible. So I made a deal with Cartamundi. I told Cartamundi, I said, hey, Cartamundi, I'm 100% going to print with you. I like Cartamundi anyway. That wasn't really a negotiation for me ultimately, because I knew that I was going to use Cartamundi to print this. But I told them, hey, I'm going to print this for you. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to do some prototype decks with cold foil. This is not something they do. Okay. So I was super excited when they agreed. And we ended up having, I had the mic away from me a little bit. We ended up having the Cartamundi produce the prototype. So what this is a cellophane prototype from Cartamundi, and inside this prototype deck, I don't know if you can see, there's like you can see the different colors, kind of different striations, lines of colors, because inside this one deck are 10 cards from each individual deck. So the prototype decks is actually a kind of a best of, right? Where you have 10 cards of each of the style of back. And the idea was that if you have 6 of these, you could collate them to create, 6 decks for photography or whatnot. Obviously the faces, you're not going to have all the faces because you have 6 decks and they're all going to be spread out. So, the purple deck may only have the ad card or whatever, maybe the only one with the ad card. But the point is that I could make those decks viable for photography and for video, and to show people what the final product was going to be. But what ended up happening is you get this really cool product, which is this prototype deck, cellophane from the factory, final with cold foil of all 6 of the back designs. And to top it all off, what I'm doing is I'm pairing them with tuck boxes of auditioned foil and color variants that we ended up not choosing for the final, that are still really beautiful. This was, again, one of my favorite that was rejected, quote unquote. It's got like a mint green kind of mint green foil with the gold foil, and it's numbered and signed on the flap. So the 29 individuals who get that tier will get a prototype deck sealed inside a unique tuck box. So, there may be 2 or 3 of the same style, but ultimately there won't be very many. The plan is to have different prototype tuck boxes. All of these are rejected, by the way, rejected variants. Even this red one that does not have color, it's just gold, different colors of gold. They're going to have that. And on top of that, my plan is, if things go well, and I think they will with funding, to have each one of these in their individual, in an individual carrot case with engraving that says number 1 of 30, number 2 of 29, or 3 of 29, or 4 of 29 with the successor logo. So that's going to be a really cool tier, and that's only $70 more than the Sarcophagus tier, and it's the only way to get one of these 29 prototypes. The reason there's 29 is because we literally ran out. Excuse me. I'm talking too much and not drinking enough water. I haven't even really had breakfast. So that prototype is only available with that tier. Then there's the tier underneath it, which is still a max tier, is the Sarcophagus tier. And that tier is the ultimate tier, the one that comes with the Sarcophagus, and also brings the prism, the Tempest Prism deck, which, we worked really hard on, this purple and hollow foil, amazing deck with the sleeve that has the coronation sculpt in antique silver. So super happy with this. This is an amazing piece. Only 400 of these are going to be made, 10 of which are already accounted for. Kevin's got 3. I got 3. I've got 4 others that have already been accounted for special friends of the campaign. So ultimately, only 390 will be available to the public. 29 of those will be part of the other tier. So it really starts to get really limited, real quick. Another thing to consider and to note is that the Dynasty decks, we only ever print 777. It's been that way since the parlor, where we create the Dynasty decks. And by the way, I see all these questions. I'm going to get to that real soon, I promise. The Dynasty deck, we're only printing 777, 400 of which belong in the box sets. So what does that mean? That means that there's only 377 of these not in the box sets. So if you're not going for a box set, you're also going to have to, probably be quick with your fingers to make sure that you get your Dynasty deck if that's what you want, if your goal is to get a Dynasty deck. But I'm super pleased with this. Kevin nailed the design, the black hollow foil when you see it in person. I'm sure you've seen it in video and in photos. It looks spectacular. And it really adds an extra bit of nuance and an extra bit of flavor to the gold and the green. And this is going to look beautiful next to the other Dynasty decks. I was talking to my wife about this earlier because I really feel, the Dynasty sub brand is really cool. It's a really cool thing to be able to have, a Dynasty sub brand where there's like a series of Dynasty decks, and if you get them all, then that's special. I think that's going to be special. So yeah, so that's that. All right.
I didn't actually know that there was such a thing as a black prism foil.
Isn't that beautiful? It's amazing. It's so cool.
When you showed me that, I had to take a double take. I was like, I didn't know that existed. I mean, I've done prisms before, but black is really interesting. Yeah, and it worked out awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
A couple quick shout outs to Gavin Wan for some of his photography the last couple of days. Thank you. It was great. Chris, photographer, took the great photography. Thank you so much. It looks really amazing. Very, very happy with how that looks. You really went all out and it shows. The photography looks stunning. Thank you. Product great. I mean, I do think the product is kind of hard to make look bad, but it takes talent to do something that great. So thank you for that. And whoever just commented about being divorced and homeless trying to buy the new decks.
I feel you. I feel you.
Don't want anyone to be homeless or divorced over a card deck. But anyway, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Gavin also mentioned that he says he's vouching for the beauty of the prototype deck because it's really unique. The idea of having a deck that has all 6 back designs within it, so you can kind of get a best of kind of interpretation. Chris is like, I may have 6 of those prototype decks in his office right now. He did the photography, so that makes sense. The benefit of being the photographer. Let me see some questions. When is the Kickstarter supposed to actually launch? We are 17 minutes away. At noon Eastern, we launch. And it is called Claim to the Throne. I don't remember the names. It's hard when you're doing all this stuff. Kevin got on today and he said, I don't even know how you figured out all the pricing for all this stuff. And I'm like, neither do I. Neither do I. I have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets of okay, this is what it's going to cost us to do this, and this is what it's costing. Right. It's crazy.
This is how we break even.
Tim is asking, what's the biggest difference between this launch and the last? Was it harder, easier? Just curious. That's a interesting question. Here's my answer. My answer is we are better prepared this time. We delayed things basically as much as I could delay them because I wanted things to be ready. And I wanted the page to be as close to beautiful and perfect as I could. Kevin did some awesome art. You'll see it. Some awesome little little filler artwork that kind of fits in with the images. Chris did an amazing job with the photography. I put the video together. So really pleased with the page and the presentation of the page. I went really in depth with the copy, really explained everything in depth. Of course, there's still going to be questions because there always is. But in that respect, it is easier because, Lautrec is a brilliant artist, but one of the things that everybody knows about him is that he is a little, how do I put this? Unreliable? I don't mean to sound like he's not a reliable human being, because he is. It's just the way he works is more chaotic. That's the word, right? It's just more chaos in the way he works. And Kevin is more methodical. So because of that, we were able to arrive at a position where I think this launch hopefully will be easier. Now, that project funded in 4 minutes. This has a much bigger goal. We'll see if it's easier in that respect, to be determined. Okay, another question somebody asked, what do the cards look like in the Prism? The Prism cards are the same. So the faces of the Prism decks are, for now, unless it's like an astronomical amount of money that we make that I can like change the interior Prisms to include hollow foil. For now, they are identical to the other limited editions that have cold foil. So silver and gold cold foil on the faces. The backs, however, will have hollow foil. So the backs on the current version of the prototype is silver foil, because it's just something that hollow foil was not something that Cardamundi could do in a prototype run. I mean, I stretched it thin asking for cold foil, and I got it. I couldn't push it any further. But the final version of these cards will be hollow foil wherever you see silver foil now. So it's going to be very, very cool. I think it's going to be amazing. Let's see. Enough talk, take my money. Yeah, absolutely. We will in a second. Let's see what else we got. What are the questions? I will only be able to get the basic stuff. Davidson, I absolutely understand that. We have plenty of tiers for everyone. Like, that's something that I really believe firmly in. You know, you don't have to be a completionist to support. You can just get like the regular deck, and it's just enough, you know. Can I refresh the preview page once it goes live? Absolutely, yes. It is the same page, so you will be able to do that. The draft, not the draft. I would do the preview page, which I'm gonna put it in chat. Hopefully, Nightbot doesn't stop me from putting my own link. Okay, there's the link there. I just linked it in chat so that you could have access to it. How much is the sarcophagus tier, Craig? Right now we have an early bird special. So for the first 24 hours, the sarcophagus tier is I believe $465. I believe it's $465. I may be mistaken. It may be $475, but it's either $475 or $465. Forgive me for not knowing exactly. It's just a lot of numbers, and it's been kind of crazy. Why not an even 100,000? Well, 6 figures is more daunting than 5. That's the simple answer from a psychological perspective. So we kept it at 99.75. You know, just to be under that 100K number, not you know, just to kind of keep it under 600, the 6-figure number. Coins, please have coins. Yes, coins will happen if we reach the goals. So, you know. Liza Quinn is coming in. My wife is coming in with 475. So 475, is that the early bird tier, babe? I just want to double check. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, the correct, Davidson. The purple is only for the sarcophagus tier. So yeah, and DVD Broken is confirming that 475 is for the early bird tier. Yep. Okay, great. How am I feeling? How are you feeling right now, Kevin? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, how are we going to do here? Like, what is your honest to goodness impression of where we are?
And we'll experience, right?
What's that?
Dennis Anderson's $45 million record, and I'll go buy an island somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough product to get that, to hit one of those records. But you know,
no, I don't know. I've never done this before. I mean, I hope we do well. I mean, I hope people like the deck. You know, I'm super proud of it. I think it's the best deck I've ever done. But right. you never know. You don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're 10 minutes out. So I'm going to stop. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the Zoom chat, and then we're going to start it again. Okay, Kevin? I'm going to send you another invite ASAP. Okay? So just be on the lookout for that. All right. Okay, so all right, I'm back. So I'm gonna get Kevin back in here. I'm going to get Kevin back in here. Copy invite link. Thank you for bearing with me, guys, on that. I really apologize. Next time I will have that sorted out so we don't have this issue again. So he should be getting that link any second now, and we can get him back in here. So we're only 10 minutes away now. Excuse me. 10 minutes away from the launch. Liza's asking me if I don't have a pro account, and I do have a pro account. I don't know why I'm not logged into the pro account for whatever reason, and I really don't want to go through the process of trying to figure out that right now while we're on, unfortunately. Where is Kevin? Okay, here's Kevin. Kevin's right here. All right, buddy. Thank you so much again for bearing with me on that. Sorry, Ben. All right, you're back.
I'm back, yeah.
Let me make this as big as possible here. Yeah, so you were saying you're confident, but you also have no idea, basically.
Yeah, I think, when we really started play, and we were wondering if we'd sell all those box sets out, and we sold them out in like a day or two, and but part of it, me talking with the Buck twins from Art of Play, we didn't know. You just don't know. You try to create the best thing you can, and then you hope people like it. And again, I do think that this is, I think this one-up standards. And again, I've got standards decks. I've got Tavern. I got all these decks laying by me, which is like, you can take this deck and you can look at it in 5 seconds. And it took me so many hours to create this thing.
Yeah.
It's such a funny thing. Like when I show a brand to someone, it's like, oh yeah, I spent 6 months of my life on that. And you can look at it in 2 seconds. And some people, and then you get all these branding experts like, oh, that logo sucks. You're such a worthless branding. You don't know what you're talking about. Let me design it for you. And maybe they could do it better. I don't know. I did the best I could.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's interesting because from the product perspective, I have very, very little doubts, right? Like I feel like we produce a beautiful product. Like there's no doubt in my mind that we made something worthy of having in your collection at home, right? So from the product perspective, I'm 100% confident that we nailed it. Now, I have no idea what the reach is, like how many people know about it. Like I know there's 200 people in this, or 170 people or whatever in this chat right now. 160 people in this chat right now, and obviously it's 160 people that are going to be there that are going to pledge. And I know that there's other people that are going to come in and they don't have time, they're working, they're not it's Tuesday in the middle of the morning, they're not going to be on chat, like watching the live stream while they're at their, but they might log on to partake and to participate in the process. And over the course of the live stream, we've had 730 people come in. People come in and out. 730 people have clicked on that view button, right? So that's a lot of people. That's enough people that we could, hey, if 400 of those people are diehard fans and they want the sarcophagus, we're funded, right? Like it's immediate. Like it's going to happen immediately. Now, it may not be the case. And that's a lot of money to ask. And we know that, which is why in my mind, one of the most important things for me to do was to make sure that the product was worth it, right? Like if I was paying $475, would I be happy with the end product? And I promise you that I personally would be. If I got this box, if I got this box set at home and I opened it, and my experience was to feel the heft and the quality of it, and to understand the detail that went into it, and to see the different metal components and all that stuff, it's going to be worth it. And I feel like that was my number one goal, right? Number one, more than anything. I have no idea if it's going to fund. So this is a long roundabout way of saying, Fabian, that I don't know how I feel. I am nervous. I am International Successor Day, says Chris. I'm nervous, and I am definitely unsure. And I went through this last time, and I was proven very foolish, but it doesn't matter. This is a bigger goal. This is a more ambitious project. And more expensive. This is like head and shoulders more expensive than anything that I've done thus far. And that's why, we also chose to do a different kind of model this time around, where we didn't kind of have we didn't hold back. Like, hey, here's the Dynasty deck. We know what's going to happen. Last time it's like, hey, the Dynasty is a stretch goal. But I honestly, like, I would be lying to you if we had put in all this effort on this deck and we were like waiting to see if it was going to make. No, we want it to be made. Like, so that's part of the reason why the funding goal is so high. It's because all these things that would normally be stretch goals, we just like built it in. Like, hey, the Dynasty edition, the the Monarch White edition, like all these editions with the metal and the gilding and all this stuff were things that could have easily been stretch goals. But we decided that we were going to just put it out there, lay it out on the table right from the get-go, and have everyone an opportunity to see what's in store so that there's no surprises. There's no like, hey, I'm going to pledge for the 3 decks. And then a week later, it's like, fuck, excuse the bad language, but there's another deck coming out now. And I got to go in there and edit my pledge. And what if I missed it? And what if it's limited and I didn't get the one that I want? We wanted to really eliminate all that stuff. Okay. So somebody's asking about European shipping. So here's what we did. We're doing the same thing that we've done every single campaign. Free shipping in the United States, free shipping in Germany. That's where our fulfillment centers are. That's really good news for people in Europe because in the EU, that means there's no customs because it's within the EU. So we have European-friendly fulfillment. So it's absolutely going to help. Shipping costs are still high. Invariably, when you're shipping, especially if you're in the Sarcophagus tier, where you're looking at a box that weighs 6 pounds fully loaded, and it needs to be well protected, and it needs to be very well protected so that when you get it, it's in pristine mint condition. Shipping is not cheap, but we've also kept it, I think, manageable. You know, I believe shipping worldwide is like $45 or $50. I think that's fair. You know, some companies are charging $18 for a single deck. You know, I know King's Wild Project on their last campaign, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there was like $17 for a deck that cost $12 if you wanted it shipped worldwide. I mean, that's a lot of money for a single deck. So we've tried to keep shipping costs down, and part of that process is having a fulfillment partner in Europe to help with that. So Lorenzo's mentioning that the UK is not included in the EU thing. Unfortunately, that is just a reality. You know, the Brexit happened, and the UK is no longer in the European Union. So you may have some stuff there happen there, but you know, ultimately, I think you'll be pleased with the results. So we are 3 minutes away. So I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna pull up the page here and get ready to. I don't remember how this works. Lorenzo, if I hit ready to launch, does it launch automatically, or is there another screen that I got to go through? I don't remember, but we're so close now, so I'm just going to have it up here and ready to go. You can see my pointer on the screen. Hit that ready to launch button. Hopefully not FedEx for UK. Carmelo, I don't know who. I believe Deals uses DHL. I can't recall exactly if they use DHL. I believe they use DHL. So we'll have to look into it. But don't worry, you will get your rewards. That's one of the things I've said is we printed 30,000 Tempest decks, and every single one of them, I was very adamant about making sure that it got to their home. Okay, so Lorenzo's saying there's another screen. He's a veteran, so I'm gonna hit that. Okay, I've read the details. Launch project. All right, we're ready to go. Countdown 2 minutes here. I wish I had like an actual countdown to what time it actually is, so I know when to push the button. Let me see if I can find the time website to kind of get me to the second. Okay, here we go. All right, 1 minute away. 50 seconds. I'm just going to count down. 45 seconds. Being really annoying.
I just want to go back to bed, man. Like,
yeah, I feel you.
No, I'm actually going to jump on I have a call coming up after this.
Okay. All right. No worries. But at least we'll be here for the launch. And
I'll be here for a couple more minutes. I'll be here for a little bit longer.
30 seconds now. So I'm really kind of pretty excited here. Everybody get ready. Let's see what ends up happening. 15 seconds away now. Exciting. I always find the last few seconds before launch to be utterly nerve-wracking. Especially because I want to be sure to hit the button right at the right time, you know? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and I hit the button. I'm waiting for it to load. All right, it's up. It's up. $0. Yes. It always takes a second to catch on. The campaign ends on the 30 on June 24th at 2 p.m. So it's actually technically 31 days, roughly.
It's my birthday, June 21st, so just after my birthday.
Oh, just after your birthday. I usually do like a live stream leading up to the final hours. So we'll probably do one like on noon on the 24th, leading up to the final hours. So, all right, 6 backers in. We've got 13 backers now. Waiting for those numbers to update. There we go. Big update there. Nice. The numbers are rolling in now. That's cool. I love seeing that number fly up like that. That's always fun.
We need
31 backers. We've got, oh, there we go. Oh, another huge amount of backers just came in there. 49 new backers. Already at 25,000. That's really cool, guys. So we're 1 minute in. 1 minute in, we already hit 30K. That's that would have been faster than Tempest. So that already is faster than Tempest.
Can we match the Keen's Wild, Lord of the Rings?
Oh man, the 200K in one day, that's a lot of money.
I mean, those guys killed it. Those guys really killed it. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, no, Jackson's been very smart about how he's done things. Like he's just
he's really astute at that. He did a great job.
Yeah, $42,000 in 1 minute and 49 seconds. That's pretty impressive. 48,000. It just went up $6,000 in the time it took me to say the sentence. Yeah, this is great. I'm really quite pleased that we're almost we're more than halfway to the goal, and we're moving along. We're chugging along. And you know, I should have done something. I should have asked everybody what they thought. I made a mistake. I forgot. I should have asked everyone what they thought, how long it would take. I know some people chimed in and what they thought it would take to get funded. But it's always a fun little game to play, to kind of imagine like, hey, how much time is it going to take before this thing hits that funding button, hits that funding goal. We are 2/3 of the way to the goal.
That's crazy.
With 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Awesome.
2 minutes and
a huge thank you to everybody, for supporting
absolutely.
Us.
If anybody hasn't watched my video where I literally almost broke down in tears at the end,
I saw that.
Yeah. Just thanking everybody, to anyone who's ever watched a video, or who's ever been a part of a live stream, or who's ever liked an IG post, who's ever bought a deck of mine, backed a project, been a Patreon supporter. Like, I can't tell you how thankful and how just how much gratitude I have for what you've done for us and for this business and for this fledgling company. We are at just about 80,000, now 85,000. Just a second. At 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Can we beat the Tempest, which was 4 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think in 20 seconds we're going to get $15,000. That would be like mind-boggling. But still, it's pretty impressive. 86K is pretty impressive. Really excited. I'm amazed. I really am. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, this has been...
No, but it helps, seeing Sanderson, seeing Keen's Wild project, seeing, it's really exciting. And I mean, you just feel grateful, really grateful, humble that you guys are willing to support these projects that we put all our labor, but our passion, our love in, that enables us to do what we love. And that's really awesome. And so thank you, people. Let's keep it up. It's
we're so close. We're so
hit those
close.
Stretch goals. We can add in all those extra bells and whistles.
Yeah, we have so many cool things that we want to do for stretch goals, but obviously the project is so expensive that we needed to kind of slowly work our way to it. Right? We needed to slowly kind of say, hey, we know we want to do interior foil printing. We know we want to do, some the coins. We know we want to do the custom seals. Like these are all things, and numbered seals. Like these are all things we know we want to do. 95K, man. 95K, and we're 5 minutes in. 96 now. So we're getting real close. Real close. That number just jumped to 97.5, 97.7. We're just $2,000 away now from reaching our goal in under 6 minutes. 99,710. 99,730. And we are funded.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Woo! Congratulations. Hey, congratulations, Kevin. Congratulations to everyone
likewise.
watching at home. Congratulations to Lady Wake, to Chris Moyer for the photography, to Simone Rassetti for the sculpting, to Fabian Barral for hooking us up with JC from Studio Presión, to Studio Presión, to Cardamundi for their amazing efforts and contributions. We just passed 105K now. We're still going strong. It's great. It's really great. I really appreciate it. It really validates all the work.
I know, man. I think back to it's 2 years. 2 years, man. Granted, obviously, that's not full time 2 years, because again, we have to trickle it in and do it.
Yeah,
do it.
Of course.
And that I have periods where I have a lot of dedicated time, and I'll have a month or I'll have a few weeks where I can't because I've got to work on other stuff. But it's just it's amazing. It's great. I can't wait for people to actually get the product and see the deck. Because really, I put it out. I think in terms of production and quality, if you guys like my standards, you like any decks I've done, I think this is beyond what you've seen with those. It's really incredible, and I'm super proud. And this is, anyway, keep it going, keep it coming.
Keep it coming. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just I want to look and see where we are with kind of the tiers. I'm gonna refresh, see what's been kind of gobbled up. We're at 110 now. That's amazing. An extra 10 grand beyond our goal. That's phenomenal. 152 people have already pledged for the Sarcophagus, and the top tier with the prototype is sold out. So wow. That leaves just 209 Sarcophagus tiers now out of the 400 already snatched up. So that was quick. People were very fast to make sure that those were taken. Yeah, man, it's really something, to put yourself out there and just to do something like this. And I'm super pleased and I'm overwhelmed. I'm a little bit emotional and super grateful. And I only hope that it continues to be this way. Obviously the first day is the big day, right? The first day is the day where all the anticipation's been built up. Everyone is excited about putting in their pledges, but 113,000 is, just to put this into perspective, Kevin, is $34,000 more than the Tempest made in the first 24 hours.
Jeez.
Okay.
That's awesome. And to you, Omar, big congratulations to you. I designed it and stuff, but you had to do all of the sourcing for the production. and obviously you bore the cost, right?
Yeah.
That's hard. I've had to do some of that in smaller things and personal things I've worked on. That's a lot of stress. And so huge congratulations to you, man. And
yeah, we were all in on this.
we were.
Not gonna lie. Lady Wake and I had a conversation last night. We're like, yeah, we're kind of all in here. It's scary. It's scary to put your eggs in a basket like that and just walk around, not just putting your eggs in a basket, but put your eggs in a basket and then jump out of a moving airplane.
I know. It's hopefully you didn't have any investment in Luna.
No, I did not.
I have a friend who lost someone because he lost a fortune, and it's really tragic.
That's
really tragic. Anyway, very sad. And always remember that, you know, money is, and investments are tough and stuff. And obviously you want to be successful, but it's more important to have each other, more important to care for people and things move on. I think did your mic, did you?
No, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm just being quiet,
sorry.
just kind of listening.
Sorry, I was looking at the YouTube thing, which is delayed, and I was seeing you talking, but not talking. Like, are you muted?
No. I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I'm trying to catch up with all the comments. Everybody congratulating us. 5 minutes, under 5 minutes. Crazy. I can't believe $99,000 in 5 minutes of something that was feasible. I need to change my business strategy. I need to do something different so I could get that kind of income just rolling in my bank account every day. Yeah. Mepper is asking, is it possible to get the Dynasty Rex without getting the 5-deck set? Not at this time. So the plan is, because I want to make sure that the people who are really wanting to support to that extent get their Dynasty decks. The first thing is I'm going to honor those black backers, right? And then if there are leftover decks later on, we will open it up to have as an add-on, probably in backer kit after the campaign ends, is the goal. But yeah, Lorenzo saying tears of joy. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. Somebody's congratulations on your proto tier, Jay. You got the prototype tier. Congratulations. Hellum, I don't have any plans right now to include some of the standard decks as extras. If things go really well, obviously we're off to a fantastic start. I could see that happening. I could see myself adding in at least one standard deck to those claim the throne tiers, so that folks can have a deck that they can open, you know, and stuff like that, and play with, and not have to feel like they have to open their mid decks. But you can also add on some of those decks. Those are available for add-on, at the very least, the red, blue, and black.
I just gotta say, Intricuts, where you were number one. Like, I don't know how you did that, but it's pretty rad that you got the first order, and congrats. That's awesome. Big fan of those Intricuts too, by the way. I don't know how you do that. They're really cool.
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch up to all the so many comments, so many people being just so effusive and wonderful. Congrats to everyone that snagged a prototype tier. I tried to get one right away, but I guess you guys were just faster. Yes, Cigar, they're definitely pretty quick. Still one prototype. Respect to Liza Quinn, absolutely. Liza Quinn absolutely shared in the risk, and also for believing in what my crazy vision was. Like, my wife was like so supportive throughout all this. I can't speak highly enough about how important and instrumental her efforts and patience were during all this. Zephyrin, right now the only way to get the White Monarch is in the 4-deck set. Unfortunately, again, I'm trying to honor the more limited tiers first, and then as the campaign progresses, you know, I could see myself opening up some of those to some other people. So yeah, so already at 121,000, absolutely amazing, fantastic, or almost 121,000. So this has been a super successful day and week for us. So really excited, and I just want to thank everybody. I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts. Your contributions and your support is super appreciated, and you will get a product worthy of that support.
Whoever says that they're predicting it'll reach 1 million mark, if it hits 1 million mark, I'll give you a free standard something if your prediction is correct.
I think if we hit 1 million, we'll come up with something.
We'll figure something out. We'll figure something. Super special out.
Yeah, if we hit $1 million, I can honestly say everyone gets a free deck. We will make a new. If we get to $1 million, we will make a new variant, and everyone can get it for free. Okay.
We'll make a new deluxe sarcophagus, double mounts,
double wide. Like it'll literally be the size of your body, and you can and you can lay in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a super surprised. Oh, let's I'm gonna roll the giveaway. I forgot about the giveaway with all the excitement. Everybody, sarcophagus. The word sarcophagus is the word. I'm gonna run this giveaway. There's still a chance to win the prototype. Here, I'm gonna show it again for everyone who's maybe coming in a little late. The prototype sarcophagus lid sculpt, all finished with vegan leather and the piano black lacquer edging. This is a prototype. It does not feature the intricate kind of filigree that is in the final version here in the bottom corners, that was designed to kind of eliminate a little bit of the scuffing that happens from the polishing process. But this one will go to a home and still beautiful and display worthy piece, in my opinion. So I'm going to roll that giveaway in 3, 2, 1, rolling. Licks, I don't even know how to say this. Licz, repeated 3 times. Licks. Congratulations on winning the sarcophagus lid prototype. Thank you so much for being a part of the chat and for being in here. So congratulations to that. Hold on, I just saw a couple messages here. I'm seeing the chat is flying by, so it's hard to like catch up to everything. Let's see, funded. Wow, so many people commenting. Oh, somebody's asking, a lot of decks have production times between 5 and 7 months. This is a 12-month delivery. What is it, because of the special items? The reality is that I didn't want to happen. I didn't want to miss our deadline, and things happen. Like the world production is very tenuous. Shipping is crazy. It's rough. So I just wanted to be sure that I didn't make any mistakes with regards to estimating times. I wanted to allot for problems that always happen and issues that always rise up that need to be solved. So my goal is to get these to you in your hands sooner rather than later. The reason being is because I have other plans and other projects that I want to get off the ground, but this is number one priority. I want to make sure everybody gets their project. So the short answer is I'm going to get this out to you as soon as possible. Hopefully it will be within 5 to 7 months, but I'm giving myself the year because I know how things happen and I know how things can be, and I want to be sure that I don't miss my deadlines. So that's the idea. That's the reason why for the shorter turnaround in that respect. When does the early bird end? The early bird ends 24 hours from now. So 24 hours from launch date. So at noon tomorrow, the early birds will be ended. I don't know why it says 0 seconds that you can still pick them. They're still active. The early birds are still active until tomorrow. Any card guards in the add-ons? No card guards at the moment, but I definitely want to do one. So here's what I have in mind. I want to do the anointed Joker as a metal card. So I want to have it sculpted. I want to have the back sculpted.
Sick.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. However, we got to get that goal, right? We got to get to that goal and make sure that happens, because it's considerable. It's a considerable expense to make it happen, but I think it's a beautiful piece and worthy of the treatment, of the 3-dimensional treatment. So, of the first, we have unlocked the inner foil tux. The inner foil is now unlocked, 125%. We now will have inner foil represented, the inner foil pattern in foil.
That's awesome.
On all the tuck boxes.
Yeah,
so,
I love that pattern. Very proud of that pattern. That'll be great to see that.
And it's going to look amazing when you open like the gilded decks and like the reflection of the pattern onto the gilded edge of the cards. It's going to be spectacular. Spectacular. Hellam is saying he's stoked that he'll have another member of the Dynasty family. Absolutely. We paid very close attention to make sure that those 3 decks on the shelf look spectacular. I mean, that's the goal. Interior tuck foil. Yep, these cards are gorgeous. Thank you very much, Zoe. Really appreciate it. 350%. Here we come, Alex. I really hope that you're not wrong. We're at 128K. How long has it been? What time is it? It is 19 minutes into the day. 19 minutes into the day, and we are at $128,929 in funding raised. I mean, that is spectacular.
If someone's asking to see the pattern,
Oh, I'll pull it up. While we kind of wait here for to see where we are. This is amazing. I mean, I can't believe it. Really phenomenal. I thank you everyone again. I know I keep repeating myself, but I really just don't have any other words for coming out and for supporting and really for being a part of this. It's just crazy. Hold on, let me see if I can find the interior pattern. I know I have it. I just don't remember where it is. Tux. Shoot, it's not here either. You know what? If I put interior, maybe in the search field. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This is the, I'm going to bring up the interior pattern now. By the way, it's going to look weird because it's going to be in pink rather than obviously whatever foil color we end up choosing for the final version. Let me bring it up here. Here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Zooming in on this. So this is the interior pattern. I hope you guys can see it at home. Should be able to see it. So basically the idea is we have all these kind of intricate interlocking circles with the sword in between them. We have the kind of the scroll work, the successor monogram TS, and also the TheGentlemanWake monogram, which is actually very cool because when you open the tuck flap, the first thing you're going to see on the back of the tuck flap in the center position is the TGW monogram. So very cool. I love it. I think it's a fantastic design. I'm really excited to be able to bring that.
I created that custom. I mean, I created so many pieces for this, but I love that TS monogram and
I want to show people the brick boxes because if the brick box happens, I think people would be really excited about that. But I don't remember.
Yeah, you should. I mean, because we don't really have a visual representation of that either. And I think because it's a nice piece too. I mean, obviously it's not Sarcophagus, but it's still a great piece for the box.
It's beautiful. Okay, so oh shoot. So here it is. I think you can see it now. Yeah. Okay. So you're seeing it now. This is going to be the brick box, the custom brick box. Obviously, this is just basic lines right now. We don't have like the foil and the embossing and all that stuff. But basically, it's a mirror of the Sarcophagus, but in the brick box form factor. So there's some obvious adjustments that were made to the design. Obviously, the figure of the King in Repose is prominent. It's a beautiful box, and I really hope that. We unlock that stretch goal because I think the people getting bricks were going to be very happy and very pleased. So let's see what else. Any other questions? This was a blast. I can't support you monetarily. No worries, Kate Furball. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this. Even if you can't support monetarily, your support in spirit is enough. So thank you for that. Flat case tuck as an add-on. Seth, I am definitely considering the tuck cases. So this is really cool. So Studio Pression in France, they sent me all of these. This is something that I should give away. This is really cool. We'll do that now. So Studio Pression in France did the printing on the tuck boxes, and they just did a phenomenal job. This tuck box, by the way. Hey, Kevin, the white tuck box, man. Bravo. He can't hear me. I think he might be muted. He might be talking to somebody. But the point is that this tuck box, man, it is gorgeous. And I really am considering adding this as an add-on so that people can have a piece of this, something that they can put in a frame if they wanted to, maybe with a signature up here in the corner. But I have to see how things go. And maybe this is something that we can add later on. I definitely would love to do that. We might hit our 150% stretch goal today, which would be, amazing, right? And if we do that, then I can start thinking about bigger stretch goals. I can start thinking about adding some extra stuff in. We're trying to make the stretch goals, obviously, because the campaign had such a high initial funding goal. We had to kind of figure out how we were going to do the stretch. The stretches were really important.
Sure.
So yeah. I was just earlier giving you credit, Kevin, on the fantastic job you did on the white tuck case, because it is just.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, it's my wife.
Yeah, no worries. Just gorgeous.
And the multi-level emboss, the sculpted die, really incredible on that.
So one of the things that Studio Presión did, which I really thought was cool of them to do, is because he wanted me to have like a version of the tuck, and hold on, let's see if we can.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be really hard for you to see. Okay, here we go. A little bit there.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is on cotton paper. So just the emboss layer on cotton paper of the tuck box.
I almost want that.
Oh, absolutely. In fact,
love to have one of those.
Yeah. Here's one that I folded, that I actually, actually folded, and you can see the embossing, and it's actually signed.
That's pretty sick, man. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting, like to see like the blind emboss, how it looks and how it feels. Very cool.
You need good impression and good paper to take all those details. Yeah, that's super cool.
No, I couldn't be happier with Studio Presión. Like, look, I loved working with Lautrec and Oath Playing Cards. They did a phenomenal job printing the tuck boxes on the Parlor and the Tempest. I think those tuck boxes are beautiful. And he did an absolutely amazing job. By the way, the Zoom call might knock out any second. So if you're still interested in staying on, I can send you an invite again.
Yeah, it's not a little bit longer.
Yeah. So the fact is like, it was really important to make sure that that I had the right partner for this project. He's very busy. Lautrec is very busy. He's got his own projects. So I wanted to find a solution that maybe would be fit better, our timelines better. So I think we found Studio Presión, and we're super happy with what they've done so far. And they have a high level of detail and a high level of attention to detail, and they are exacting in their desire for quality, which is the way I am. So that's all really important. Okay. Somebody's asking, will the sarcophagus box be in another sarcophagus box? Again, if we hit 1 million, we will make that happen.
I'll show up at your door.
Yeah, exactly.
And deliver it to you.
Only 180 left in the of the sarcophagus. That's great. That's really impressive. That's
awesome.
Details of the royal coffers. Okay, so when I wrote for the 500% funding goal, which is $500,000, no mean feat. If we reach that the royal coffers would open up, it's because I want to give back. Now, what that means, I am not sure yet. But I promise you, if we get to 500,000, everybody will be happy. Okay? I will be happy. Kevin will be happy. You will be happy, because everybody will get a little piece of the pie. Like, at that point, we are giving back. Like, we're going to be giving back and giving back generously. Like, everybody will get some really cool things. Uncut sheets are available in add-ons. So you can add on uncut sheets for the red, the blue, the black, the white, and the green. The purple, as of yet, there is no uncut sheet. If there's enough demand for it, I guess theoretically I could open that up. So we could see that happening. And there is a mini deck. Okay, so this is something that, Kevin, I don't even know if you and I have talked about this. So I have a plan. I think it's at 400% or something, a ridiculous amount of money, to do a mini deck. I call it the Crown Prince Edition, the Successor Crown Prince Edition, and it's gold on gold in the mini format. Okay, so it's just reducing the size of everything by 50%. It's literally half the size of the normal deck. So have you seen mini decks before?
I think we have a minute left, and this is going to cut out.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to restart it. Let me restart it. Don't go anywhere, guys. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back. Let's get Kevin in here. I hope you guys can still hear me. And then I'm coming through loud and clear. Oh man, it's pretty crazy. I haven't even looked at the messages. I have so many messages. I'm gonna be on customer service duty for the rest of the day today. As can be expected, these things always kind of happens. All right, I just sent Kevin the new link. So Kevin, if you're listening, you will get it. Let's see. Playing 5 playing cards projects launched at your time. No, I didn't know about that, but it didn't hurt us. We made our goal. So, I guess some people wanted to piggyback off the interest of maybe having, another reality is the reason I chose the time that I chose is it's just a good time to launch. Tuesdays are a good time to launch. So, you get that aspect. Kevin has not joined yet. I'm going to let him know one more time that the link is up. Let me find him. New link sent. I will fix this. This won't happen to me again with the thing, the link, whatever. Early design, early prototype. Yes, I will show something very shortly. Okay, I will show something very shortly. Salty can. Yeah, April's Kid. That would be great. That would be great if the top tier sells out so that all the people who talked less than favorably about it will be proven wrong. That would be amazing. Pepper, people are faster than I am. Yeah, well, that's the way it works. All right, Kevin's back. Okay, let me get Kevin in here. Sorry about that, Kevin. You're back. Sorry about that. I just wanted to... Okay, so let me get you back in here. All right, you're in here now. All right. So I printed, just to tell you, just to kind of clue you in, everyone who's watching on the level of OCD that I have when it comes to like wanting to make sure that the project was as good as it could be before launching it. I printed prototype decks with MPC, and do you remember, Kevin, how I called you and I was like, I must have sounded like death. I was like, man, these are terrible. The cards just didn't have any of the life and the excitement. They weren't good. They just weren't good. And I have those prototypes lying around. They're not terrible per se. It's just not the experience that I wanted. What's that?
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, and I ended up obviously, going back on it and going to Cardamundi and getting Cardamundi involved because I really wanted that to be a thing. So 142,000 now, 412 backers. That's absurd. How much is that per backer? That's a lot. 142,000 divided by 412. That's $340 a backer. Wow. I'm impressed. That's impressive. Super impressive. So thank you to everybody who's pledged.
Fabian, thanks for being with us. Always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, Fabian. Appreciate it, buddy. Much respect, and thank you for all your help. All right, so at this point, we're just sitting by, kind of idly waiting to see where I don't know where this is gonna go. I have no idea. How about this? How about before we get off, we're gonna do one more giveaway. I'm gonna give away a Tempest Prism Artist Proof. So a Tempest Prism Artist Proof. Basically, the only way that you can get this anymore. Like, you cannot get this any other way. And for that one, we are going to do keyword funded. So keyword, hold on one second. Let me get that ready before you start typing, before everybody starts typing that word. Okay, so keyword is funded. So I'm going to make everybody eligible. Go ahead. Everybody is now eligible for the word funded, and that's to win a Tempest Prism Artist Proof, which cannot be had any other way. I only have 3 of them, and I'm giving away one of them right now. Those are my personal copies, so it's coming from me. I will even sign the back of it if you want, if whoever wins this wants. So that's pretty exciting. This is just as a big thank you to everybody who stayed with the chat, even past the funding. There's still 97 of you in here. So thank you so much for doing that, for being a part of the stream, and for sticking with me, for building the hype, and really bringing your energy and your support and your energy to this process. So it's really cool. So that's definitely a white whale, Wild and Crazy Guy. Definitely a white whale. I can't say that these decks are very readily available. This is my hope, however, Kevin, for our deck, that one day people will look at the Successor Prism deck in the same way, as unique and as sought after and as scarce as some of this other stuff. I mean, I've seen some of these Prism decks go for the price, of the tier, like the whole tier for the one deck. So that's nuts. So I think that's pretty exciting. All right, guys. No need to spam it. Just one time is good. All right. So what I want to get before I'm going to run it a little bit. I want to get an idea of where everybody thinks we're going to land. So why doesn't everybody give me an idea of where they think the final funding number will be? And I'll look back at this video, and if somebody gets close, I'll send them something, send them a little something. So everybody, I want to see what your guesses are for where the final funding goal, knowing that we are an hour, not even, we're 36 minutes in at 143,000, sitting at 143,000, 36 minutes in, where people think we are going to land with the final numbers. So, just let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Francisco Fuentes says 1.5K. That sounds low.
A little low.
Alex, that's correct. I need to adjust. I end up adjusting those. Don't worry. I don't think we're going to sell out of those today. That would be
1.5 million. I don't think 1.5 million is happening. I appreciate the comment.
That would be phenomenal, but I don't think so. Is there some more realistic ones here? 235, maybe 365, maybe 410. That would be amazing. 379, 325. A couple people in the 600s. 600s is going to be real hard. 600s is going to be real hard because the tiers are just going to run out. The higher tiers are going to run out. So it's less likely. 500,000, maybe. 332, I would be pleased with that. That 332 number would be pleasing. 398 also would be pleasing. 435 would be more pleasing.
Of course.
467 would also be more pleasing. Thank you guys for all the votes of confidence. I think these are a little inflated. I don't know what the final. Usually the first hour is really the big hour, right? Like the big push where everybody comes down and shows their support and really drops the majority of the money. But having said that, how many of the highest tier left? Let's find out. Let's do the math, because I think it's worth doing the exercise of knowing what the possibilities are.
650 to beat Lord of the Rings.
What's that?
One person put 658 to beat the Lord of the Rings deck.
Oh,
right?
that would be.
That would be amazing. We'd need probably like 10,000 backers to get to that, which is theoretically possible, but we need a lot. We need a lot of people to. Hey, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody.
Unlikely.
Get a deck. I mean, the thing that's cool about it is we obviously have the high tier, which is expensive, but some of the lower tiers, I mean, $20 for an amazing deck is pretty awesome.
Dude, and it's $20 for a deck with 5 foil layers, deep sculptural embossing.
That's a ridiculous price for.
Yeah.
I mean, my standards decks and those have sculpted embossed on the line, of course. And those are $15, I think, and then plus shipping. So it's comparable. And this has more printing techniques than that. And so, I mean, way more, like double the printing techniques than that one. And that's a pretty over the top deck. I mean, here's my British flag version. You can see that. I mean, we actually had to do it in 2 passes because the impression was so detailed on the lion. It was too much pressure for the press to hold it. So they had to do the line in one run and then the rest of the embossing in the other run.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So
did they have that problem with Successor? I'm surprised they didn't actually.
No, not that I know of, but I'm not sure. It looks like they did the embossing in 1 pass.
Yeah, it's
based
amazing
on what I understand. By the way, so yeah, there's still about 80,000 just in unpledged top tier stuff. So, so you know that means if we sell out of those tiers, we'll be in the 230 grand range just there. So yeah, so Matt Savage coming in with 245. I think that's very feasible, very possible.
I think we'll pass 245. I personally, if I had to put a guess, I'd say somewhere to the 300 to 400 range is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we get the backers, I think right now the 430 backers is a low backer count for the amount of money that we have.
Yeah, it is. So hey, let's get it up.
Yeah,
you told your 94-year-old neighbor they didn't like it. I'm insulted that your 94-year-old neighbor did not like our card. I can't believe it. Steve Wiskowski, I'm very grateful that you're messaging here and not texting me anymore. Being a little cheeky, but I did get your thing out. I'm sorry it took me so long, but I did get your package sent out. I think you got the tracking number. Thank you for being patient with me.
You owed him something?
Yeah, he wanted a deck that wasn't available. I have some decks. The supposed to be promotional items for when I finish my branding book someday, if I ever do.
Right.
And so I have a couple, and so sometimes people contact me, and I can get them a deck that's run out.
Interesting. Well, you're gonna get like 103 people asking you that now.
Hey.
Inverted. So there's a bunch of comments. Did I miss you missed some giveaways? Yes. Big and Bros. I'm still doing one. It's the keyword is funded. For 147, really close to the 150% funding number now. The 150% funding number would be right around the corner. So hopefully that arrives very soon. Let's see what else. Hey, I'm a Mr. Gill. What nothing standard version. Yeah, there's really the standard versions are not standard. You're absolutely right. They're high end. They're what you would call a premium deck for any other manufacturer, any other printer. It would be something you would call a premium deck because number one, they're gonna have Pantone inks. It looks like by the looks of our funding goals. Again, 5 foil embossing layers. You got to imagine every layer requires its own pass. So the registration to get 5 foil layers is very tricky, therefore very expensive. So you don't see that. You see 2, maybe 3 foil layers sometimes, but 5 is very unique. So we definitely went a little extra over the top with that. The sculptural embossing is another thing. Most decks do not have sculptural embossing. We took it to that next step. The cards themselves, as I mentioned, will have Pantone and metallic inks. That also differentiates it from standard cards. And then the artwork just brings it up the next level. So I think it's definitely fair to say that these standard editions are not are anything but standard.
Yeah, it's funny. Like my standards cards are anything but standard. Well, it's a reference to the gold standards.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That's why. But no, I mean, the standard editions of these are ridiculous. Like they're ridiculous. Like $20 for that is just, I think is a steal. Like I think it's a crazy low price for the level of quality.
Yeah. Oh, Stockholm 17 is predicting 555K. Dude, I hope you're right.
If we get over 500K, I'll figure out some kind of giveaway.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do something really. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many. That's when the royal coffers open up, 500K. So everybody out there who was asking, you'll find out what that means. We will find out together what that means because I don't know either. But it will be worth it, and people will be pleasantly surprised with that. So here's the thing. here's the next thing I want to ask everyone, because I think this is the next thing for support. I think Kevin, you hit on it earlier. Let everybody know that likes playing cards. Be excited about this project, because I think the cards are worthy of being backed and being funded. So just get them in front of the site. If they like playing cards, just get them in front of a picture, get them in front of a video, get them in front of the campaign page, and let the cards do the talking and the convincing for you. All you need to do is get them in front of there. So share the word, post on your Instagram feeds, talk about how excited you are about it, and let that FOMO reach out into the culture, into the world of playing cards, and help us, because I think we all will benefit from that. 150,000 just passed. So congratulations, Kevin. Another milestone.
Hey, that's awesome.
We are now at 150% funded.
That's awesome.
And that I believe that opens up the Pantone inks, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking.
I mean, we could schedule another stream in like a week or so, Amar.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea. Pantone metallic inks on the backs and faces of the Regal Red and Royal Blue. So yeah, 150%. Next is 200%. We're going to have a numbered seal on the black, Imperial black version. Have you designed a seal yet? You have not, right?
No, I designed a seal.
Yeah, but it's the top seal. I want to do a bottom seal. So looking at the bottom of the decks, Kevin, this is something that we're literally designing on the air, guys. This is perfect for numbers. These little windows. We can put some numerations in here on a seal that mimics what this looks like. It'll be white or whatever color we want, gold or whatever.
I think your screen's only showing the box right now.
Yeah. So the idea being that if you look at the video screen, if on the bottom of the box, we can these little windows that you designed. Maybe that's a good spot where we can figure out a way to put some numbers in there,
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. So for that deck. So yeah, that'll be at 200%. And then we start getting fun with stuff, a numbered seal at 250. And we're going to do some other things. I mean, the part of the reason why the funding goals are so top heavy is because, again, this is a very expensive project. Even at 100% funding goal, it was probably not going to be enough. But I didn't want to set it too high either. Because obviously things happen, and we want to have a good look anyway. All right, so I'm gonna run this last giveaway, and I think we're gonna call it a day, and we'll do another live stream. We'll do another live stream in a couple of in a week or so, maybe we'll try to put something together and talk a little bit more and see where we are when that happens, and maybe make some announcements and some updates as to how the campaign is going. I'm closing up all this other stuff here, all these windows, and do that. So, all right. So let me run the giveaway once again, guys. The word is funded. Yeah, 1000 did that 1.3 million, but he also has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So, it's crazy. Vegan Bros, I'm going to announce the winner soon, very soon. Howard says 200K. I think we're going to pass that, Howard. We're at 151. I think it's safe to say we're going to pass 200K. I wouldn't be wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong about that. I have a feeling that typically with funding, if you look at the graphs, like for instance, I'll give you an example. Parlor started at 40. And we ended at 150. It was like 45. So we saw an increase from day 1 to day 30 of about 150%, right? If we went from, or 300% rather. We went from 40 something to 150. Tempest, we started day 1 at 80,000 something. And that was a much higher number. So the percentage was a little less. That project ended at 194. So that one went about, 220% or something like that. So if we were going to follow the kind of that rule of law, an expectation of a 200% from day 1 is a reasonable expectation. That puts us at 300,000. I don't know if we're going to get there, because the structure of how this campaign is, where everything is kind of upfront and available rather than piecemealed out and available as stretch goals, changes a little bit how the funding works. But I'm curious to see.
Let's see. Someone's asking me what my favorite Kickstarter deck is. I'm actually not familiar with too many Kickstarter decks, to be honest. I think I saw there was one that we looked at. Which one was it?
Here, Lorenzo made a point to show like the previous campaign. Here's Tempest. So that's 79,000 day one. And, you know, you saw a moderate increase from day one to day two, about 15,000, 4,000. Then it starts to level off a little bit. And then here we had probably the Treasured Edition, I think, probably launched, which gave us a little bit of a boost. We went from 104,000 to 120. And then that leveled off. And then here's where we had probably the Wylenti deck released, which obviously was a huge bump. And the funds generated, and we ended up at 190. So, and I'm going to show, now I'm going to show the parlor, for how the parlor did, because the parlor had a similar curve. So here's the parlor's curve. The parlor day one, for some reason, wrong place. The parlor day one was 48K. And then we had a second day where we had another 15 or 16,000 and brought it up to 62. And then, you know, it leveled off. And then we released the Dynasty edition. And that was a huge bump, about a $30,000 bump. Then again, it leveled off and obviously it ended up at around 150. So, you know, it's curious. These things are really interesting how they happen and you never really know. The big thing is, this is the big thing, okay? At the end of the day, this is the big thing right here. 1,697 backers. We currently only have 500. So you can imagine how much this number can go up with an extra 1,200 backers. If 1,200 backers got involved, it would be a substantial boost. Especially, you know, since unfortunately the top tiers are going to start to sell out. And when that happens, that makes it, you know, the price, the number per backer starts to come way down. But still, an extra 1,200 backers would be an enormous amount of support. So yeah, again, spread the word. Let everybody know that this project is ongoing and that it's worthy of their attention. And hopefully the cards will do the talking and convincing.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Vivid card deck. It's definitely pretty interesting, and I think the artwork's pretty cool. I like how some of the number cards interact when you line them up. That's pretty cool. It's definitely very like it's a very specific look.
Yeah. I would say also it's very contingent on the fact that those are people who follow him as an artist. Yeah. So they know what they're getting. They know his style. They're expecting his style. That's what they want, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit different. But you know, needless to say, they crushed it. I mean,
$2 million for.
Yeah, but it's not even. It's not the 2 million. It's the number of backers that's impressive.
Yeah, but you also know the production on that is like nowhere near the cost.
Please.
So most of that 2 million is going in the coffers. You know, like. Yeah,
absolutely. No, yeah, the production on this is much more expensive than the production on that. I promise you this is a much more expensive deck to produce than those decks. But yeah, so very cool. All right. I'm going to run this giveaway and we're going to close the stream out in 7 minutes at exactly 1 p.m., 1 hour after the campaign's launched. Here we go. I'm rolling the giveaway. The Mega Nerdist, you are extremely lucky. You are the winner of a Prism Artist Proof, Tempest Prism Artist Proof. So congratulations. And you're right. Everyone's pointing out that the funding on this just passed the parlor in one day. When you put it into perspective, it's absurd. But, you know, also a testament to how expensive this project is because the parlor was significantly less expensive than this one. And so, you know, it's all relative. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's still a lot of work to be done.
Craig, let's see, you're asking if I have any citizens wood boxes or standards. But I think I personally have 2 or 3 of the standards that are for my own collection. I don't know if I'd be willing to part. Look, we meet. How about this? We hit 1 million. I'll give one of my 3 away. How about that, huh?
Yeah.
Citizen wood box. I think I have 1 citizen wood box, maybe 2. I only have 1 of those. Yeah, those are pretty limited edition. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just typing with a friend of mine who's congratulating me. Yeah, really excited about this, and super happy and super pleased. Thank you all so much. A Mega Nerdist. By the way, anybody who won any contest today, I gave away 4 things. Anybody who won any of those contests, please. Hey JC, how are you? Studio Presión in the chat. Yes, a very good start.
Hey.
A very good start. Brilliant work on the tuck boxes, man. You're definitely partially responsible for the success. Absolutely. So if you won anything during this live stream, message me on Instagram, reach out to me, and we will arrange for you receiving your products. Super pleased and super happy, and I can't wait to see where we go. We will reassess in a week and see where we are, and talk about any new developments that could happen. So very cool. Very cool. Excited. All righty. Kevin, thank you so much for your time, man.
No, thank you. It was great to chat with everybody. Great. Shout out to Studio Presión. Great work. I know my work can be tricky to print, so thank you for working on it, man. You did a great job. It's always great to see the vision realized.
Absolutely. And yeah, man, I mean, congrats, dude. We're doing very well. And then, hopefully we continue this pace and we can work on something together in the future. Hint, hint.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep it going forward, guys. Got to feed the kids.
An email for those of us that Instagram hates. What do you mean DVD broken? I'm talking about people who won awards to contact me via Instagram. You don't have to if you didn't win. But if you do want to contact me via email, if you absolutely do need to contact me via email, info@TheGentlemanWake.com. We'll get you a response. Studio Presión is thanking you, Kevin. So thanks. Very cool that to make that connection.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. Really appreciate it, man. Lorenzo's always coming out. Lorenzo, and like I mentioned before, just a consummate friend and colleague, and somebody who, even after we've stopped working together, still is a vital part of my infrastructure for the person I go to when I have a question that I don't know the answer to. It's Lorenzo, and he's always been very gracious and very helpful. So amazing. Okay. Excellent. So we will catch up very soon. I got new videos coming out. Some of the reviews that I'm working on a review for the King's Wild Romeo and Juliet decks. I'm working on a review from Good Night Hellum. I'm working on a review for the lore decks. I'm working on a review for Lorenzo's Eye of the Ocean. I got my Lorenzo. I got my decks and my book. I'm super excited to start reading that. Very, very cool. And I got some other stuff too as well. I can't remember now. There was a couple other things that are worth reviewing. I have a bunch of reviews coming up. I'm gonna continue to do giveaways, and continue to move forward. And hopefully this keeps going. I'm excited. 158K at the time at 1 hour at 58 minutes. So definitely a great start. Alrighty, guys. Well, on that note, thank you all for joining. And we will talk very soon. And once again, if you want any campaign, any rewards, any contest today, reach out to me on Instagram and I will get to you. If you have any questions regarding the campaign, also you can leave a comment or send me a message on that. Until next time, see you around.
Thanks, everyone.